You are about to experience something that will seem too simple to work, and that is exactly why it works so powerfully. While you work, while your hands are busy with the tasks of the day, while your conscious mind is focused on answering emails, organizing spreadsheets, or whatever activity requires your surface attention, something extraordinary is happening at a much deeper level. Your subconscious mind, that part of you that never sleeps, that never stops processing information, is completely open and receptive right now. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered this over 100 years ago, long before modern neuroscience confirmed what she already knew. She observed that people who repeated certain affirmations while doing manual work, while sewing, while washing dishes, while performing tasks that did not require deep thought, manifested results much faster than those who sat in formal meditation trying to force changes. And the reason is fascinating when you truly understand the mechanism. Your brain, at this exact moment, is operating on multiple layers simultaneously. The conscious layer, the one you call I, is dealing with the immediate demands of your work. But beneath that layer, there is massive neural activity happening without you needing to direct anything. Your subconscious is processing millions of pieces of information per second, regulating your breathing, your heartbeat, your body temperature, and most importantly, it is constantly scanning the environment for patterns, for information, for instructions about how you should behave and what you should expect from life. When you try to meditate formally, when you sit down and close your eyes and try very intensely to reprogram your mind, something interesting happens. Your conscious mind, that analytical and critical part of you, becomes hyperactive. It starts questioning, doubting, resisting. You think an affirmation like, "I am wealthy," and immediately an inner voice responds, "No, you are not. Look at your bank account." This conscious resistance creates a blockage. It is like trying to push a door that is locked from the inside. But now, while you work, while your conscious attention is occupied with other things, the door is unlocked. There is no resistance because there is no effort. The words you are hearing right now are entering directly, without passing through the critical filter, without encountering objections, without battle. They simply settle in, like seeds planted in fertile soil, and begin to grow without you needing to do absolutely anything other than continue doing what you are already doing. Science calls this peripheral learning or non-conscious information processing. Studies show that the brain absorbs and retains information presented at the periphery of conscious attention with surprising efficiency. You do not need to concentrate intensely. In fact, concentrating too intensely can actually interfere. What you need is exactly what is happening right now. One part of you occupied with simple tasks, while another part absorbs, integrates, transforms. Florence taught that your word is your wand. The words you hear repeatedly, the phrases that circulate in your mind, consciously or unconsciously, are literally the instructions you are giving to the universe about what to create in your life. And here is the crucial part that most people do not understand. The universe does not respond to your conscious desire, does not respond to your goals written on paper, does not respond to your hopes. The universe responds to your subconscious conviction, to that deep programming that defines who you believe you are and what you believe is possible for you. Think of your current financial life as a perfect and precise reflection of your subconscious programming about money. Not your conscious programming, because consciously we all want abundance, we all want prosperity. But subconsciously, many of us carry programming of fear, of scarcity, of unworthiness, of guilt related to money. These programs were installed in childhood through phrases we heard repeatedly from our parents, teachers, from society. Money does not grow on trees. You think I am made of money? Rich people are greedy. These phrases, heard hundreds or thousands of times during formative years, created deep neural pathways in your brain. They became automatic truths, operating below the level of consciousness, creating your financial reality without you realizing it. And the good news, the extraordinarily liberating news, is that just as these programs were installed through peripheral repetition during everyday activities of your childhood, they can be completely replaced through the same process now. It is not about effort. It is not about trying hard. It is about repeated exposure while you are in a receptive state. And working, especially work that does not require great mental concentration, is one of the most receptive states that exists. Florence had a client who was a seamstress. This woman was in deep poverty, full of debts, seeing no way out. Florence instructed her to listen to certain affirmations while she sewed, not to stop working and meditate, but to work and listen simultaneously. The woman was skeptical, but decided to try. She would sit at her sewing machine, working on garments for customers who paid very little, barely enough to cover her rent. And she would listen to recordings of prosperity statements that Florence had prepared for her. The first week, nothing changed externally. Her bank account remained the same. The bills kept coming. But something subtle was shifting internally. She noticed that the constant anxiety she normally felt while working, that knot in her stomach about money, was loosening slightly. She was not thinking about the affirmations consciously. Her mind was on her sewing. But somewhere beneath, the new programming was beginning to take root. By the second week, something unexpected happened. A customer who normally paid her $20 for alterations gave her a $100 bill and told her to keep the change. By the end of the first month, her entire business had transformed. Customers were recommending her to their wealthy friends. She was being asked to create custom garments instead of just doing alterations. Her prices tripled, and people paid without hesitation. Within 6 months, she had moved to a larger studio, hired 2 assistants, and paid off all her debts. And when Florence asked her what had changed, the seamstress said something profound. "I stopped feeling poor while I worked. I used to sew with this heavy feeling of lack, of desperation. But after listening every day, I started sewing with a feeling of abundance. I did not even notice when it shifted. But it shifted. And then everything external shifted to match. This is the power of subconscious reprogramming during work. It bypasses the resistance. It operates beneath the level where doubt lives. Scientists have discovered that it takes approximately 21 days of consistent repetition for a new neural pathway to become established. 21 days of hearing the same empowering beliefs while you work, and those beliefs begin to operate automatically. 66 days, and they become your new default setting. There was another person, a man who came to Florence in 1923, a banker who had lost everything in a series of bad investments. He had tried positive thinking, visualization, affirmations spoken in front of the mirror every morning. Nothing worked. In fact, the more he tried, the worse things got. Florence told him to stop trying to convince himself. She said, "Start simply stating truth, and do it while your mind is occupied with something else, so that the part of you that argues is busy and cannot interfere." She instructed him to get a simple job involving physical work that did not require intense mental focus. He took a job at a warehouse, loading boxes, and Florence gave him a recording with statements of prosperity. She told him to play it quietly while he worked, just loud enough to hear in the background. The first day he felt ridiculous, but something else was happening. For the first time in months, his mind was quiet. He was not obsessing about his failures. He was just lifting boxes, and somewhere in the background, these words about prosperity were playing, and he was too tired and too busy to argue with them. After 2 weeks, an old colleague contacted him out of nowhere with a small consulting opportunity. After 1 month, he received a letter informing him that a distant relative had passed away and left him $5,000. But the real change was internal. After 6 weeks, he realized he no longer felt like a failure. He could not pinpoint when the shift happened. He had not tried to shift it. He was just working, listening, and somewhere along the way, his identity had changed. Within 6 months, he had been offered a position at a small investment firm. Within a year, he was managing a significant portfolio again. Within 2 years, he had exceeded his previous wealth. These stories illustrate what is about to happen for you. You are not trying to force prosperity. You are allowing prosperity consciousness to install itself naturally while you remain productively occupied. There is no strain. There is no desperation. There is just gentle, consistent exposure to truth, and that truth is rewiring you from the inside out. Now, here is what will happen for the remainder of this audio. You will hear statements of prosperity, declarations of abundance, truths about your financial nature. You do not need to concentrate on them. You do not need to repeat them. You do not need to believe them consciously yet. In fact, the less attention you pay, the better. Just continue working. Let these words play in the background. Let them circulate beneath your conscious awareness. Your subconscious mind is listening. Your subconscious mind is absorbing. Your subconscious mind is being reprogrammed right now, and it will continue to be reprogrammed for as long as this audio plays. Do not try. Do not effort. Just allow. Keep typing. Keep organizing. Keep doing whatever task is in front of you. And know that beneath the surface of your awareness, something profound is occurring. New neural pathways are forming. Old beliefs about money are being overwritten. Your identity as it relates to prosperity is shifting. And when you finish your work today and turn off this audio, you will be a different person than you were when you started. Not dramatically different, not obviously different, but subtly, deeply, permanently different. And that difference will compound day after day, week after week, until your external financial reality has no choice but to match your new internal prosperity consciousness. So continue working now. Let the next words simply wash over you. Do not focus. Do not analyze. Just work and let your subconscious do what it does best. Absorb, integrate, transform, and create your new abundant reality. I am wealthy. This is not a hope. This is not a wish. This is a statement of truth that is being installed in my consciousness right now. I am wealthy in mind, and therefore I am becoming wealthy in manifestation. Wealth flows to me naturally, easily, constantly. I do not chase money. Money chases me. I am a magnet for prosperity, and every cell of my being radiates abundance. Divine substance is the source of my supply. Infinite intelligence provides for me in ways I cannot even imagine. I am not limited by current circumstances. I am not defined by past failures. I am not restricted by what I can see. I operate from a consciousness of unlimited supply, and that consciousness creates unlimited results in my physical reality. There is no lack in the universe. There is only lack in human consciousness. And I am releasing all lack consciousness now. Every old belief about scarcity is dissolving. Every fear about money is melting away. Every doubt about my worthiness to receive is being replaced with absolute certainty that I am meant to prosper, designed to thrive, destined to live in abundance. I cast the burden of financial worry upon the divine within me, and I go free to have wealth and prosperity. I cast the burden of debt upon infinite intelligence, and I go free to have financial freedom. I cast the burden of fear about the future upon the universe, and I go free to have perfect supply flowing to me now. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. Money comes to me through channels I have never considered. Money comes to me in perfect timing, in perfect amounts, for my highest good and the highest good of all. I am open to receive. I am willing to have. I am ready to accept the prosperity that is my divine birthright. I am not in competition with anyone. There is enough for everyone. Another person's wealth does not diminish my own. I celebrate the prosperity of others because I know that we all draw from the same infinite source, and that source never runs dry. When I see wealth, I recognize it as a reflection of what is also available to me. When I witness abundance, I say yes to that same abundance appearing in my own life. Every dollar I spend comes back to me multiplied. Every bill I pay is a seed I plant in the garden of circulation. I bless money as it leaves my hands, knowing it is going out to do good work and will return to me increased. I am not afraid of spending. I am not anxious about giving. I trust the law of circulation completely. What flows out must flow back in, and it always flows back greater than it left. I deserve wealth. I am worthy of abundance. I do not have to earn my worthiness through suffering or struggle. I am worthy simply because I exist. I am a child of the infinite, and the infinite wants me to prosper. Prosperity is not something I achieve. Prosperity is something I accept. And I accept it now, fully, completely, without reservation or hesitation. My income is constantly increasing. I am seeing evidence of financial growth every single day. New opportunities are appearing. New doors are opening. New sources of income are being revealed. I am in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing for my highest prosperity. Everything is working together for my financial good. I release all guilt about having money. I release all shame about wanting wealth. I release all fear about becoming rich. Money is good. Money is a tool for good. Money allows me to live freely, give generously, and impact the world positively. I am meant to have money. I am designed to handle money wisely. I am destined to use money for beautiful purposes. I think like a wealthy person. I feel like a wealthy person. I speak like a wealthy person. I act like a wealthy person. Wealth is not something outside of me that I am trying to attain. Wealth is something inside of me that I am allowing to express. I am wealth. I am abundance. I am prosperity in human form. The universe is abundant. Nature is abundant. Look at the trees producing thousands of seeds. Look at the ocean with its countless drops of water. Look at the stars numbering in the billions. Abundance is the natural order of creation, and I am part of that creation. Therefore, abundance is my natural state. I am returning to what is natural. I am remembering what is true. I attract money effortlessly. I do not have to strain. I do not have to stress. I do not have to force. I simply align my consciousness with prosperity, and prosperity flows to me automatically. My only job is to maintain the consciousness. My only work is to keep my thoughts aligned with abundance. And that is happening right now, in this moment, as these words reprogram my subconscious mind. Every time I hear these statements, they become more true. Every time these words wash over me, they sink deeper into my being. Every repetition is strengthening the new neural pathways of prosperity. Every moment of listening is dissolving the old patterns of lack. I am being transformed from the inside out, and that inner transformation is creating visible, tangible, measurable changes in my outer financial world. I am financially free. All my needs are met. All my desires are fulfilled. I have more than enough. I have abundance to spare. I have overflow to share. I am living in the consciousness of plenty, and plenty is manifesting in every area of my life. My subconscious mind is now programmed for wealth. My subconscious mind is now aligned with abundance. My subconscious mind is now creating prosperity automatically, naturally, perfectly. I do not have to monitor this process. I do not have to control this process. I simply allow this process to unfold, and it unfolds flawlessly. Infinite intelligence knows how to make me wealthy. Infinite intelligence knows the perfect path to my prosperity. Infinite intelligence is arranging circumstances, orchestrating events, aligning opportunities for my highest financial good. I trust this intelligence completely. I surrender to this intelligence fully. I allow this intelligence to work through me and for me without interference from my limited human mind. Money loves me. I love money. We are in a beautiful relationship of mutual respect and flow. Money comes to me easily. Money stays with me joyfully. Money multiplies through me naturally. I am a responsible steward of wealth. I am a wise manager of resources. I am a generous circulator of abundance. I see opportunities everywhere. Where others see problems, I see possibilities. Where others see obstacles, I see openings. Where others see lack, I see latent abundance waiting to be activated. My eyes are trained to recognize wealth. My mind is tuned to prosperity frequency. My heart is open to receiving all the good that the universe wants to give me. I am grateful for the wealth I have now. I am grateful for the wealth that is coming. I am grateful for the consciousness of wealth that is being installed in me right now. Gratitude multiplies my good. Appreciation accelerates my manifestation. Thankfulness opens the floodgates of heaven. And blessings pour into my life in overwhelming measure. I forgive everyone who ever harmed me financially. I release all resentment about past financial losses. I let go of all bitterness about money. Forgiveness frees me. Release allows new good to enter. I am no longer bound by the past. I am no longer defined by previous lack. I am brand new in this moment, and in this moment, I am wealthy. My words create my reality. I speak prosperity into existence. I declare abundance over my life. I command money to flow to me now. I am not asking. I am not begging. I am decreeing. I am speaking with authority because I understand that my word has power. My voice has creative force. My declarations shape my world. I walk in divine favor. Doors open for me that are closed to others. Opportunities come to me that others overlook. People want to help me succeed. The universe conspires for my prosperity. I am blessed, highly favored, and deeply loved by the creative power that runs this entire cosmos. Every breath I take is breathing in abundance. Every exhale is releasing lack. With each heartbeat, prosperity is being pumped through my entire system. With each thought that passes through my mind, wealth consciousness is being reinforced. I am becoming prosperity. I am embodying abundance. I am the living expression of infinite supply. There was a woman in New York in 1927 who worked as a typist in a law firm. She earned barely enough to pay for a small room in a boarding house and one meal a day. She would often go to bed hungry, telling herself it was fine, that she was fasting for spiritual reasons, when the truth was she simply had no money for food. She had been living this way for 3 years. And every morning she would wake up with a knot of fear in her stomach, wondering how long she could continue before she collapsed completely. One afternoon, she overheard 2 women talking in a coffee shop. One of them mentioned Florence Scovel Shinn and something about speaking prosperity into existence. The typist was skeptical. She had been raised in a very practical household where talk of metaphysics was considered foolish nonsense. But desperation makes people open to things they would normally dismiss. She found Florence's address and went to see her that very evening. Florence looked at this thin, tired woman and asked her one question. "What do you say about money when you are alone?" The typist was confused. She said she did not say anything about money. Florence smiled and said, "That is not true. You speak constantly even when you do not realize it. You speak with your thoughts. You speak with your feelings. You speak with your expectations. And right now, you are speaking poverty every moment of every day. Your entire being is broadcasting lack. And the universe is responding to that broadcast perfectly." Florence gave her specific instructions. She told her to do something that seemed absurd. Every time she typed a letter at work, every single keystroke, she was to silently say, "I am wealthy," in rhythm with the typing. Not out loud, just internally. The woman thought this was ridiculous. How could saying words in her head while typing possibly change her bank account? But she had nothing to lose, so she agreed to try. The first day was strange. She sat at her typewriter, and with each key she pressed, she thought, "I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy," over and over in rhythm with the clacking keys. Her fingers moved, the words appeared on paper, and beneath it all, this declaration was running like an underground river. She typed legal documents about property transfers, about business contracts, about estate planning, and the whole time, this current of prosperity affirmation was flowing through her consciousness. By the end of that first week, something unexpected happened. The senior partner at the law firm walked past her desk and paused. He looked at her and said, "You seem different." She was startled. She had not spoken to him beyond basic greetings in the 3 years she had worked there. He asked if she had training in legal research. She said no. He said, "I think you could learn. I am going to assign you some research tasks in addition to your typing. There will be additional compensation." That additional compensation was not much, but it was enough for her to eat 3 meals a day instead of 1. But more importantly, something had shifted in how she was perceived. Within 2 months, she was doing more research than typing. Within 6 months, the firm paid for her to take evening courses in legal studies. Within a year, she was working as a paralegal with triple her original salary. Within 3 years, she had become indispensable to the firm, was earning more money than she had ever imagined possible, and had moved into a beautiful apartment with a view of Central Park. When she went back to see Florence to thank her, she said something that Florence would later repeat many times. "I did not change what I was doing. I changed what I was being while I was doing it. I was being a poor typist typing letters. Then I became a wealthy consciousness typing letters. The typing stayed the same. The consciousness changed. And when the consciousness changed, everything else had to change to match it." This story illustrates a principle that is working in your life right now as you listen to these words. You are not being asked to stop working and focus on manifestation. You are being shown how to change what you are being while you work. The tasks remain the same. The consciousness transforms. And consciousness is the only thing that truly matters, because consciousness is the creative force that shapes every single aspect of your material reality. Right now, in this moment, you are wealthy consciousness, not becoming wealthy consciousness. You are it now. The wealth may not have manifested physically yet, but the consciousness is already complete, already whole, already abundant. And physical manifestation always follows consciousness. Always. There is no exception to this law. If you sustain the consciousness, the manifestation must appear. It is not a maybe. It is not a hope. It is absolute law, as reliable as gravity, as certain as the sun rising. So as you continue your work, as your hands move across the keyboard or sort through papers or whatever physical task you are engaged in, know that you are not just doing that task. You are being a prosperity consciousness doing that task. You are being a wealth identity doing that task. You are being an abundance mentality doing that task. And that being is what creates your reality, not the doing. Florence taught that infinite supply is here now, not coming in the future, here now, invisible but absolutely real and available. You are surrounded by infinite supply in this moment. It is closer to you than your own breath. It is more present than the air you breathe. You cannot see it with physical eyes, but it is more real than anything you can see. And the moment your consciousness aligns with it, the moment you accept it as true, it begins to materialize in your physical world through what appear to be natural channels, but are actually supernatural orchestrations. There is no delay between consciousness and manifestation, except the delay created by doubt. If you could sustain absolute certainty of your prosperity for just 7 consecutive days without a single thought of lack, without a single moment of worry, without a single whisper of, "But what if?" your financial reality would transform so dramatically that it would seem like magic. But most people cannot sustain that certainty because the old programming keeps interrupting. That is why this method works. These words are interrupting the interruptions. These statements are overriding the old programming while your conscious mind is too busy to interfere. You are being rebuilt right now. Your financial identity is being reconstructed. The old structure of lack and limitation is being demolished, and a new structure of abundance and freedom is being built in its place. You are not repairing the old building. You are constructing an entirely new one on a foundation of truth instead of fear, on bedrock of infinite supply instead of the shifting sand of human limitation. Money is energy. You are energy. When your energetic frequency matches the frequency of wealth, money flows to you magnetically, irresistibly, automatically. You do not have to figure out how. You do not have to create a detailed plan. You simply have to be the frequency, and the frequency attracts everything that matches it. Right now, your frequency is being tuned. These words are adjusting your vibration. Every sentence is calibrating you to the exact frequency of abundance. And as that calibration completes, which it is doing more fully with each passing moment, you will begin to notice money appearing in ways that seem random, but are actually perfectly orchestrated responses to your new energetic signature. I am wealth expressed in human form. This body, this personality, this individual expression that is me, is simply wealth consciousness made visible. I am not separate from wealth. I am not trying to obtain wealth. I am wealth itself, recognizing itself, expressing itself, enjoying itself through this particular life experience. When I understand this, really understand it at the deepest level, everything changes. The search ends. The struggle stops. And abundance simply flows because it is recognizing itself in me and moving toward its own reflection. Every cell in my body knows I am prosperous. Every atom of my being vibrates with wealth. I am rich in mind, rich in spirit, rich in body, rich in manifestation. This is not something I am trying to become. This is what I already am, and I am simply remembering it now. The amnesia of lack is lifting. The fog of scarcity is clearing. I see clearly now. I am abundant. My subconscious mind, you are listening to these words with perfect receptivity. You have no resistance. You have no doubt. You simply accept what you hear as truth and begin immediately to create that truth in physical form. You are so powerful. You control every automatic function of this body. You regulate every system without conscious thought. And now you are receiving new instructions about prosperity, and you are implementing these instructions with the same perfect reliability that you use to beat this heart and breathe these lungs. You, subconscious mind, are now programmed for wealth. Every neural pathway related to money is being rewired right now. Old connections that led to lack are being dissolved. New connections that lead to abundance are being formed. You are not resisting this change. You welcome this change because you exist only to serve, only to create whatever reality is impressed upon you. And what is being impressed upon you now is wealth, prosperity, overflow, abundance in every form. There was a merchant in Florence's time who came to her in complete despair. He had been wealthy once, very wealthy, with a successful import business that spanned 3 countries. Then a series of what seemed like catastrophic events destroyed everything. A warehouse fire destroyed half his inventory. A ship carrying goods from Europe sank in a storm. His largest client went bankrupt, owing him a fortune. Within 6 months, he went from great wealth to desperate poverty. He told Florence he was cursed. He was convinced that some malevolent force was working against him. Florence listened and then said something that shocked him. You are not cursed by any outside force. You are cursed by your own consciousness. Somewhere deep in your mind, you believe you do not deserve to keep wealth. You believe that when you have abundance, something will come and take it away. And that belief is what creates the circumstances that fulfill the belief. The merchant protested. He said he wanted wealth. He had loved being wealthy. Why would he create his own destruction? Florence explained that the conscious mind wants one thing while the subconscious believes another. And the subconscious always wins because the subconscious is the creative force. She asked him to close his eyes and remember his childhood. What did his parents teach him about money? He was quiet for a long time. Then tears began rolling down his face. He remembered his father, who had also been a merchant, who had also been successful for a time. And then his father lost everything to a dishonest partner. And his father, in the depths of that loss, had said something that the boy had heard over and over again. When you get too much, someone will take it from you. Pride comes before a fall. The higher you rise, the harder you crash. That program had been running in his subconscious for 40 years. Every time he became very successful, that program would activate and he would unconsciously create the very disaster he feared. Not because he wanted to, but because the subconscious was simply following its programming. If we have too much, we must lose it to avoid an even worse fate. Florence worked with him to install a completely new program. She had him repeat specific statements while he did simple manual tasks, sorting papers, organizing his small remaining inventory, basic work that kept his hands busy but his mind available. The statements were not complicated. I am allowed to have wealth and keep wealth. The more I prosper, the more secure I become. My abundance is permanent and protected by divine law. I rise and I remain high. I expand and I remain expanded. He repeated these statements for hours every day while working. And within 3 months, something remarkable began to happen. An old business associate contacted him with an opportunity to partner on a new venture. Normally, his subconscious program would have made him suspicious, would have caused him to sabotage the opportunity. But the new programming was taking hold. He felt different about it. He felt safe, saying yes to prosperity. That partnership became successful. Then another opportunity came. Then another. Within 2 years, he had not only recovered his previous wealth, but had exceeded it substantially. And this time, it stayed. No fires, no shipwrecks, no betrayals. Because the subconscious program had been changed from prosperity is temporary and dangerous to prosperity is natural and permanent for me. Your subconscious is receiving that same new programming right now. Any old belief that says you cannot have wealth, that you do not deserve wealth, that wealth is dangerous or will be taken away, is being erased. The hard drive is being cleaned. The old corrupted files are being deleted. And new files are being installed that say, I am meant to prosper. I am safe in prosperity. My wealth is permanent. My abundance is protected. I rise and remain risen. I expand and remain expanded. I thrive and continue thriving. Divine intelligence, you are within me, and you are orchestrating my prosperity right now. You know every opportunity that exists for my financial increase. You know every person I need to meet. You know every door that needs to open. You know the perfect timing for every event, and you are arranging everything flawlessly. I do not need to figure this out. I do not need to force anything. I simply need to trust you completely, and you will move heaven and earth to manifest my abundance. I trust infinite intelligence with my finances. I surrender my money worries to the divine within. I release all need to control and manipulate circumstances. I relax into the flow of universal abundance. I know that I am cared for, provided for, abundantly supplied by a source that never runs dry, never makes mistakes, never forgets about me. Money appears in my life now, not as struggle, not as strain, but as natural flow. I notice opportunities I would have missed before. I hear about possibilities that lead to profit. I am in conversations that open financial doors. Things are shifting, energy is moving. The universe is responding to my new consciousness, and that response is taking physical form in the appearance of money, of clients, of contracts, of windfalls, of increases, of abundance from expected and unexpected sources. I am not the same person I was when I began listening to this audio. My identity has shifted. My consciousness has expanded. My beliefs about money have been fundamentally altered. I am wealthier now than I was before. Not because my bank account has changed yet, but because my mind has changed. And when the mind changes, the bank account must follow. It has no choice. Consciousness creates circumstances, always, without exception. Every single thing I see in my physical world right now was first a consciousness before it was a thing. This desk, this computer, this room, this building, everything was imagined, believed, expected, before it appeared. And my financial reality is no different. It is the physical manifestation of my financial consciousness. Change the consciousness, and I change the reality. I am changing the consciousness right now. Therefore, I am changing the reality right now. The manifestation is already in motion. I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am prosperous, I am financially free. I have more than enough. I have overflow. I have surplus. I am rich. I am blessed. I am provided for. I am taken care of. I am divinely supplied. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me frequently. Money comes to me abundantly. I accept this. I claim this. I embody this. I am this. The money I need is already mine. It exists right now in invisible form, waiting to materialize the moment my consciousness aligns perfectly with it. There is no lack of money in the universe. There is only lack of consciousness. And that lack of consciousness is being corrected right now, in this moment, as these words penetrate deeper and deeper into my subconscious mind, planting seeds that will grow into trees of abundance that produce fruit season after season without fail. I receive money joyfully. I receive money gratefully. I receive money frequently. I am not embarrassed to have money. I am not guilty about wanting money. I am not ashamed of needing money. Money is good. Money is energy. Money is a tool that allows me to live fully, give generously, and experience life abundantly. I welcome money into my life with open arms, with open heart, with absolute certainty that money is meant for me, designed for me, destined to flow to me in ever-increasing amounts. Every financial worry I have ever held is now dissolving. Every fear about bills, about debt, about not having enough, is melting like ice under the warm sun of this new prosperity consciousness. I do not need to fight these fears. I do not need to battle these worries. I simply need to let this new truth wash over them until they disappear completely. And that is happening now, with every word, with every statement, with every repetition. The old fears are losing their power. The new certainty is taking root. My subconscious mind, you are so beautifully responsive. You do not question. You do not analyze. You simply accept and create. And right now, you are accepting that I am wealthy. You are integrating this truth into every level of my being. You are adjusting my thoughts, my feelings, my expectations, my behaviors to match this truth. You are making me into a person who naturally attracts money, who easily receives abundance, who effortlessly maintains prosperity. This is your work, and you are doing it perfectly. There was a school teacher who came to see Florence in the winter of 1929, just after the stock market crash. This woman had never had much money. Teachers were paid poorly even in good times. And now, with the economy collapsing, her already meager salary was being reduced further. She was living in a boarding house, sharing a room with another teacher, sleeping on a narrow cot, eating watery soup for dinner most nights. She was tired, not just physically tired, but spiritually exhausted from years of barely surviving. She told Florence she had tried to think positively. She had tried to be grateful for what little she had. She had tried to visualize abundance, but nothing changed. She was still poor, still struggling, still waking up every morning with that heavy dread in her chest about how she would make it through another month. Florence asked her a question that seemed unrelated. When you were a child, what did your mother tell you about money and teachers? The woman thought for a moment, then said, My mother told me that teaching was noble work, but teachers would never be rich. She said teachers sacrifice financial gain for the reward of shaping young minds. She said I should be proud to be poor because it meant I was doing important work. Florence nodded slowly and said, So you have been programmed to believe that your professional identity and prosperity are mutually exclusive. You cannot be both a good teacher and a wealthy person in your subconscious programming. One must be sacrificed for the other. The teacher was stunned. She had never thought of it that way, but immediately she recognized the truth. Every time she thought about having more money, she felt guilty, as if wanting wealth meant she did not truly care about her students. Every time she saw a wealthy person, she felt morally superior because she had chosen noble poverty over selfish riches. Her entire identity was built on the foundation of being poor as proof of being good. Florence explained that this was completely false. She said that God, infinite intelligence, the creative force of the universe, does not want anyone to be poor, including teachers. She said that poverty does not make you noble. Poverty makes you limited in what you can do for others. A wealthy teacher can help far more students, can create far greater impact, can live as an example that service and abundance can coexist beautifully. She gave the teacher a new set of statements to repeat, and these statements were specifically designed to break the false connection between teaching and poverty. I am an excellent teacher, and I am abundantly paid. I serve my students beautifully, and I am wealthy. My profession is noble, and my bank account is full. I give to others generously because I have more than enough for myself. I am both successful in my calling and prosperous in my finances. Florence instructed her to repeat these statements while she was grading papers. Not before grading, not after grading, but during the actual act of grading. While her red pen moved across student assignments, these new truths were to flow through her mind. The teacher followed these instructions faithfully. Every evening, she would sit at her small desk in her shared room, stacks of papers in front of her, and while she corrected grammar and marked mathematics problems, she would silently repeat, I am an excellent teacher, and I am abundantly paid. I serve my students beautifully, and I am wealthy. The first 2 weeks, nothing external changed, but internally, something was shifting. She noticed that the guilt about wanting money was fading. She no longer felt like a bad person for wishing she could afford a better coat or a room of her own. She started to feel that maybe, possibly, she could be both a dedicated teacher and a prosperous woman. In the 3rd week, something unexpected happened. A parent of one of her students approached her after school. This parent was a wealthy businessman whose daughter had been struggling with mathematics. The teacher had spent extra time with the girl, staying after school without any additional pay, because that is what good teachers do. The businessman said he wanted to express his gratitude. He handed her an envelope. Inside was $500. The teacher tried to refuse, saying she was just doing her job. The businessman insisted. He said, "Your job pays you to teach during school hours. I am paying you for going beyond your job. Please accept this." $500 was more money than she earned in 3 months of teaching. She took it, and for the first time, she did not feel guilty. She felt she deserved it. She had given value. She was receiving compensation. This was right. This was fair. This was how the universe works when you allow it to work. That was just the beginning. Over the next 6 months, multiple parents approached her with similar gifts. A woman whose son had been failing and was now excelling gave her a beautiful coat. A family whose daughter had gained confidence through her encouragement paid for her to move into her own apartment. Another parent who owned a publishing company asked her to write educational materials and paid her handsomely for the work. Within 1 year, her income had tripled. She was still teaching. She was actually a better teacher now because she was not exhausted and anxious all the time. She had energy. She had enthusiasm. She had resources to buy better materials for her classroom. And she had proof that prosperity and service were not enemies. They were partners. When you serve with excellence, prosperity flows naturally as a response. This story reveals something crucial about how prosperity works. It is not about what you do. It is about what you believe while you do it. The teacher was doing the same job, teaching the same students, giving the same effort. But when her consciousness changed from "I must be poor to be good" to "I can be both good and prosperous," everything in her external world rearranged itself to match that new internal truth. Right now, you're experiencing that same shift. Old beliefs that have kept you limited are being dissolved. New beliefs that will create expansion are being installed. You are not trying to make this happen. You are allowing it to happen. Your conscious mind is occupied with work. Your subconscious mind is being reprogrammed, and this reprogramming is creating changes that will soon become visible in your physical, tangible, measurable financial reality. I am not bound by past experiences. I am not limited by previous failures. I am not defined by old financial struggles. Every moment is a new beginning. every breath is a fresh start. Every heartbeat is a new opportunity, and in this moment, I am choosing abundance. I am claiming prosperity. I am accepting wealth as my new normal, my new standard, my new reality. Money finds me. I do not have to search for money. Money searches for me. I am like a lighthouse sending out a signal, and money is like ships navigating toward my light. I am a magnet. I am a beacon. I am an attractor of wealth. Money wants to come to me because I am a good steward, a wise manager, a generous circulator. Money knows it will be valued, used well, and multiplied in my hands. The divine within me is infinitely abundant. The divine within me has access to all the wealth of the universe. The divine within me is expressing through me now, and that expression includes material prosperity. I am not separate from divine abundance. I am a channel for divine abundance. And right now, that channel is being cleared, widened, strengthened, so that more and more prosperity can flow through me into my physical world. I prosper everywhere I turn. Every situation I enter becomes an opportunity for increase. Every person I meet becomes a potential door to abundance. Every day I live brings new evidence of my expanding wealth. I am in a constant state of financial growth. I am on an upward trajectory. I am ascending into greater and greater levels of prosperity with ease, with grace, with joy. My words have power. Every time I speak, I am creating. Every time I think, I am manifesting. Every time I believe, I am materializing. And right now, I am speaking wealth, thinking abundance, believing prosperity. These words, these thoughts, these beliefs are forming the blueprint for my new financial reality. And once the blueprint is complete, the physical structure must follow. That is law. That is certainty. That is how this universe operates. I am grateful for the money I have now. I am grateful for the money that is coming. I am grateful for the consciousness of wealth that is being installed in me right now. Gratitude opens doors. Appreciation magnetizes good. Thankfulness accelerates manifestation. I am deeply, genuinely, profoundly grateful for my prosperity. And that gratitude is drawing even more prosperity to me in this very moment. There is no competition for wealth. There is no shortage of abundance. There is no limit to how much I can have. The universe is infinite. Supply is endless. There is enough for everyone to be wealthy. And my wealth does not take from anyone else. In fact, my wealth creates opportunities for others. My prosperity lifts everyone around me. When I thrive, I help others thrive. When I succeed, I create possibilities for others to succeed. My abundance is a blessing, not just to me, but to everyone whose life touches mine. I release all resentment toward wealthy people. I bless every rich person I see. I celebrate every success story I hear. I rejoice in every manifestation of abundance, knowing that if they can do it, I can do it. If wealth can appear for them, wealth can appear for me. We are all drawing from the same source. We are all accessing the same infinite supply. What worked for them will work for me, because the laws of prosperity are universal, consistent, and available to everyone who aligns with them. I am aligned with prosperity. I am attuned to abundance. I am synchronized with wealth. My vibration matches the frequency of money. My energy matches the signature of success. My consciousness matches the pattern of prosperity. And like attracts like. Frequency attracts matching frequency. I am attracting wealth right now, magnetically, irresistibly, automatically. Every doubt is leaving. Every fear is dissolving. Every limitation is breaking apart. I am free. I am open. I am ready. I am willing. I am available to receive all the abundance that the universe wants to give me. And the universe wants to give me unlimited abundance because that is its nature. The universe is not stingy. The universe is not withholding. The universe is constantly pouring out blessings, and I am positioning myself to receive those blessings now. My subconscious mind, you are creating wealth for me right now. You are generating ideas that will lead to income. You are attracting people who will bring opportunities. You are orchestrating circumstances that will result in financial increase. You are working on my behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never resting, never stopping, always moving me toward greater prosperity. I trust you completely. I rely on you fully. I thank you deeply for the perfect work you are doing. There is a secret that Florence discovered and taught to only her most committed students. She called it the principle of living from the end. Most people, she observed, live from their current circumstances. They look at their bank account, see a small number, and then think thoughts, feel feelings, and make decisions based on that small number. They are living from what is, and therefore they keep creating more of what is. The circumstances never change because the consciousness never changes. But a few people, a very small percentage, learn to live from the end. They decide what they want their financial reality to be, and then they begin thinking, feeling, speaking, and acting as if that reality is already true. Not pretending, not faking, but genuinely inhabiting the consciousness of the desired end result. And when they do this consistently, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match their internal state. Florence had a client, a young man in his early 20s, who wanted to be wealthy but had absolutely nothing. He was not just poor, he was destitute. He slept in a borrowed room, wore borrowed clothes, ate borrowed food. He had no job, no prospects, no connections. Most people would have told him to be realistic, to focus on getting any job he could find, to work his way up slowly over decades. But Florence saw something in him, a fierce determination, and she decided to teach him the principle of living from the end. She asked him how much money he wanted to have. He said he wanted to be a millionaire. Florence did not laugh. She did not tell him to start smaller. She said, "All right. You are a millionaire right now in consciousness. You just have not received the physical evidence yet. But the consciousness is what creates the evidence. So we start with consciousness. From this moment forward, you will think like a millionaire, feel like a millionaire, speak like a millionaire, and act like a millionaire, even though your bank account is empty." The young man was confused. How could he act like a millionaire with no money? Florence explained that acting like a millionaire did not mean spending money he did not have. It meant carrying himself with the confidence of a millionaire. It meant making decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. It meant expecting opportunities instead of expecting rejection. It meant believing in his inevitable success rather than fearing probable failure. She gave him specific practices. Every morning when he woke up, before he opened his eyes, he was to say, "I wake as a millionaire. All my financial needs are met. Today brings new evidence of my wealth." Throughout the day, whenever he did any task, whether washing dishes to earn a meal or sweeping a floor for a place to sleep, he was to maintain the inner stance of a wealthy man doing this task, not a poor man desperate for survival. The young man committed to this practice with remarkable dedication. He had nothing to lose and everything to gain. For the first month, nothing changed externally. He was still sleeping on borrowed furniture, still working odd jobs for food, still wearing the same 3 shirts in rotation. But something was changing internally. He no longer felt ashamed. He no longer walked with his head down. He no longer apologized for existing. He began to carry himself differently, and people noticed. A man who owned a small grocery store where the young man would sometimes sweep in exchange for day-old bread noticed the change. He asked the young man what had happened. The young man smiled and said, "I realized I am not poor. I just have not manifested my wealth yet, but it is coming." The store owner was intrigued by this strange answer. He offered the young man a job as a clerk with actual wages. Small wages, but wages nonetheless. The young man took the job, but did not change his consciousness. He was still living from the end. He was still inhabiting millionaire consciousness while stocking shelves and serving customers. And his energy was magnetic. Customers liked him. They trusted him. They sought his recommendations. The store's sales increased. The owner increased his wages. Within 6 months, the owner made him a manager. Within a year, the owner offered him a partnership in the business. Within 3 years, they had expanded to 5 stores. Within 7 years, the young man owned the entire chain outright, having bought out the original owner who wanted to retire. Within 10 years, he had indeed become a millionaire, exactly as he had claimed he would when he had nothing. When Florence asked him what the key was, he said, "I never lived from my circumstances. I lived from my conviction. My circumstances kept trying to tell me I was poor, but I refused to believe them. I knew a deeper truth, and eventually, my circumstances gave up arguing and just became what I knew them to be. This is what is happening for you right now. You are being trained to live from the end." These words are not trying to change your current circumstances directly. These words are changing your consciousness. And when your consciousness changes, your circumstances have no choice but to follow. You are being lifted out of the prison of living from what is and being placed into the freedom of living from what is meant to be. I am a millionaire in consciousness. The physical evidence is on its way. I do not wait for the evidence to feel wealthy. I feel wealthy now, and the evidence follows. I do not need to see it to believe it. I believe it, and therefore, I will see it. This is the correct order. Consciousness first, manifestation second, always. I walk like a wealthy person. I speak like a wealthy person. I make decisions like a wealthy person. I expect opportunities like a wealthy person. I respond to challenges like a wealthy person. I am not pretending. I am not acting. I am simply being what I already am in consciousness, and that being is attracting all the circumstances, people, events, and opportunities necessary to make the invisible wealth become visible wealth. Money is pursuing me right now. I am not chasing money. Money is chasing me. And money is fast. Money is determined. Money is going to catch me very soon. In fact, money is catching me right now. I feel it getting closer. I sense the shift happening. Things are aligning. Pieces are moving into place. The evidence of my prosperity is beginning to appear, and it will continue to appear in greater and greater measure until my external reality perfectly matches my internal conviction. My subconscious mind, you know no difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. You respond to belief, not to facts. And I am feeding you the belief of wealth. I am saturating you with the conviction of prosperity. I am impressing upon you the absolute certainty of my abundant future. And you are taking this impression and creating it in physical form. You are the builder. I am giving you the blueprint. Build me a life of wealth. Build me a reality of abundance. Build me a financial situation that matches this consciousness I am now inhabiting. There is no resistance left in me. There is no doubt left in me. There is no fear left in me. All of that old programming has been washed away by these hours of truth. I am clean, I am clear, I am ready. I am a pure channel for prosperity. Nothing blocks the flow. Nothing slows the manifestation. Nothing prevents the good that is trying to reach me from reaching me fully and completely. Florence often told the story of a woman who came to her convinced she was cursed. This woman had a pattern that had repeated her entire life. Whenever she got ahead financially, something would happen to take it all away. She would save money, then a medical emergency would wipe out her savings. She would get a raise, then lose her job. She would receive an inheritance, then her house would need expensive repairs that cost exactly the amount of the inheritance. Over and over, the same pattern. Gain, then loss. Increase, then decrease. Hope, then disappointment. Florence listened to the woman's story and then said something that seemed harsh at first. "You are doing this to yourself." The woman was offended. Why would she create her own financial disasters? Florence explained that she was not doing it consciously, but subconsciously. Somewhere deep in her mind, there was a program that said, "I am not allowed to get ahead. If I have too much, something bad will happen. It is safer to stay poor than to risk the pain of loss. Florence asked the woman to remember her childhood. After some time, the woman remembered something she had completely forgotten. When she was 7 years old, her family had been comfortable financially. Her father had received a large bonus from his job. Her mother had taken her shopping for new clothes, something that rarely happened. The little girl had been so excited. But then, 2 weeks later, her father lost his job in a company-wide layoff. And her mother, in her fear and anger, had said something terrible. This is what happens when we get too happy. God punishes pride. We should have known better than to spend that money. That statement, heard in a moment of emotional intensity by a 7-year-old child, had installed a program. Happiness leads to punishment. Abundance leads to loss. It is dangerous to have good things because they will be taken away. For 40 years, that program had been running automatically, creating the exact pattern the woman kept experiencing. Florence worked with her to install a new program. I am allowed to have good things and keep good things. My happiness is permanent. My abundance is secure. The more I prosper, the more stable I become. Increase is followed by more increase, not by loss. I am safe in wealth. The woman repeated these statements while doing ordinary tasks: washing dishes, folding laundry, walking to the market. Simple activities that kept her body occupied while her subconscious received new instructions. And slowly, the pattern began to break. She saved money and nothing bad happened. The money stayed. She got a raise and she kept the job. In fact, she got another raise 6 months later. She received a small inheritance. And her house remained perfectly fine, no emergency repairs needed. The curse was lifted. But it had never been an external curse. It had been an internal program. And once the program changed, the pattern changed. The same is true for you. Whatever patterns of financial struggle you have experienced are not because the universe is against you. They are because you have been running programs that create those patterns. And those programs are being deleted right now. New programs are being installed, programs of increase, stability, security, permanent prosperity. I break every pattern of financial loss. I shatter every cycle of poverty. I dissolve every program of lack. I am free from the past. I am released from old limitations. I am liberated into new possibilities. My financial future looks nothing like my financial past because I am a new person with a new consciousness. And new consciousness creates new circumstances. Every setback I have experienced was preparation for this breakthrough. Every failure was training for this success. Every moment of lack was teaching me to value abundance. Every experience of poverty was showing me how deeply I desire prosperity. And now all of that energy, all of that desire, all of that accumulated hunger for wealth is being focused into a laser beam of manifestation that is cutting through every obstacle and bringing my prosperity to me now. I am unstoppable. I am inevitable. I am a force of financial increase moving through this world. Nothing can prevent my prosperity. No person can block my abundance. No circumstance can stop my wealth. I am aligned with infinite supply, and infinite supply is moving through me, as me, for me, right now. My work is valuable. My time is valuable. My energy is valuable. My skills are valuable. My ideas are valuable. I am valuable. And the universe compensates value. I am being compensated now. I am being rewarded now. I am being paid now. Money is flowing to me now in exchange for the value I provide. And the more value I provide, the more money flows. It is a perfect system. I give, I receive, I give more, I receive more. The cycle continues expanding forever. I love this process. I trust this process. I surrender to this process. I'm not controlling. I'm not forcing. I'm not manipulating. I'm simply aligning, allowing, receiving. The universe knows how to make me wealthy far better than my limited human mind knows. So I let the universe work. I let infinite intelligence orchestrate. I let divine order arrange all the details. And I simply show up, do my work, maintain my consciousness, and watch the miracles unfold. Miracles are unfolding right now. Things are happening behind the scenes that I cannot see yet, but will see soon. Conversations are taking place that involve my prosperity. Decisions are being made that will benefit me financially. Opportunities are being created that have my name on them. Money is moving toward me through multiple channels. All of this is happening right now while I work, while I listen, while my subconscious absorbs these truths and creates the matching reality. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so fortunate. I am so wealthy. I am so abundant. I am so prosperous. I am so financially free. I am so secure. I am so provided for. I am so taken care of. I am so loved by this universe. I am so supported by infinite intelligence. I am so guided by divine wisdom. Everything is working for my highest good. Everything is conspiring for my greatest prosperity. I am living in a friendly universe that wants me to thrive, and I am thriving. There is a profound teaching in Florence's work that most people misunderstand. She spoke often about speaking the word. Many interpreted this as simply saying affirmations out loud. But Florence meant something much deeper. Speaking the word meant declaring truth with such conviction, with such absolute certainty, that the declaration itself set forces in motion that had to produce the declared result. She explained it this way: your word is not just sound vibrating in air. Your word is concentrated consciousness. When you speak with true conviction, you are not hoping something will happen. You are commanding it to happen. You are not asking the universe for permission. You are instructing creative power to move in a specific direction. This is not arrogance. This is understanding how creation works. You are not separate from creative power. You are creative power expressing as an individual. When you speak, God speaks through you. When you declare, infinite intelligence declares through you. But here is what most people miss. You cannot speak with true conviction while your conscious mind is analyzing and doubting. That is why Florence taught people to speak the word while engaged in simple tasks, while washing dishes, while sewing, while walking. The repetitive physical activity occupies the doubting mind, and the word can be spoken from a deeper place, a place of pure knowing without interference. This is exactly what is happening right now as you work and listen. These words are being spoken into your consciousness without your doubt machine interfering. Your rational mind is busy with your tasks. Your analytical faculty is occupied with your work. And meanwhile, truth is being installed at the foundation level in that deep place where beliefs are formed, where identity lives, where reality is created. I speak the word of prosperity over my life. I declare wealth. I command abundance. I instruct infinite intelligence to manifest financial freedom for me now. This is not a request. This is a decree. I am not asking if I can have prosperity. I am stating that I do have prosperity. The word is spoken. The decree is made. The command is given. And now the universe must respond, because that is law, that is order, that is how consciousness creates form. Every word I speak has creative power. Every statement I make shapes reality. Every declaration I utter sets forces in motion. I am not powerless. I am not a victim of circumstances. I am a creator using the tool of word to build my desired reality. And right now, with every sentence I hear, with every phrase that enters my mind, I am building a reality of wealth, constructing a life of abundance, creating a future of unlimited prosperity. There was a man Florence worked with who had a peculiar problem. He was educated, talented, hardworking, and yet he could never seem to earn more than exactly enough to survive. He would get opportunities for higher income, but something always happened. He would get sick right before an important interview. He would say the wrong thing to a potential client. He would make small mistakes that cost him promotions. It was as if some invisible force was determined to keep him at precisely the level of barely surviving. Florence recognized this pattern. She had seen it before. She called it the survival ceiling. Many people, she observed, have a subconscious program that allows them to have enough to survive but not enough to thrive. And this program is usually installed by a parent or authority figure who, with good intentions, taught the child that having more than you need is greedy, that wanting luxury is selfish, that the righteous path is to have just enough and no more. She asked the man about his upbringing. He described a very religious household. His father was a minister who preached constantly about the evils of wealth and the virtue of poverty. His father would say, "The Lord provides exactly what we need, nothing more and nothing less. To want more is to question God's wisdom. To desire comfort is to love the world more than you love the Spirit." This programming had been installed deeply. The man's subconscious was not allowing him to earn more than survival level, because to do so would be to disobey his father. To betray his upbringing, to sin against what he had been taught was holy. His financial struggle was not about lack of ability or opportunity. It was about loyalty to a false teaching. Florence worked with him to separate truth from lie. She showed him that poverty is not holy. It is simply poverty. She showed him that God, infinite intelligence, the creative force, is not glorified by human suffering. She showed him that abundance is actually the natural state of the universe, and restriction is the unnatural state created by false belief. She gave him a powerful statement to repeat. "My prosperity glorifies the divine within me. My wealth is evidence of divine abundance expressing through me. My financial success demonstrates the unlimited nature of infinite supply. The more I prosper, the more I honor the creative power that made me." These words were specifically designed to break the association between poverty and spirituality, to create a new association between prosperity and spiritual truth. The man repeated these words while he worked, and the shift was dramatic. Within 2 months, he received 3 job offers, all with significantly higher salary than he had ever earned. He accepted one and performed excellently. Within 6 months, he was promoted. Within a year, his income had tripled. The survival ceiling was shattered because the belief that created it had been dissolved. Your subconscious mind, hear this truth now. There is no virtue in poverty. There is no holiness in struggle. There is no spirituality in lack. The divine wants you to prosper. Infinite intelligence designed you to thrive. The universe intends for you to live abundantly. Release any belief that says you must be poor to be good. Release any programming that says you must struggle to be worthy. You are meant to have wealth. You are meant to enjoy abundance. You are meant to experience financial freedom. This is your birthright. This is your truth. This is your reality now. I break the survival ceiling. I shatter the limitation of just enough. I explode through every restriction into unlimited prosperity. I am not meant to barely survive. I am meant to abundantly thrive. I am not designed for poverty. I am designed for wealth. I am not programmed for lack. I am programmed for overflow, and that programming is being activated right now. Money is a spiritual substance. This might sound strange because we think of money as paper or metal or digital numbers. But Florence taught that everything physical is simply spiritual substance made visible. Money is condensed divine energy. When you understand this, your entire relationship with money changes. You stop treating it as something scarce that you have to fight for. You start treating it as something abundant that you can draw from infinite supply anytime you need it. Think of money like water. Water exists in many forms. It can be ice, solid and hard. It can be liquid, flowing and adaptable. It can be vapor, invisible, but absolutely real. Money is the same. Sometimes money is physical currency you can hold. Sometimes money is digital numbers in an account. Sometimes money is invisible opportunity that will become visible wealth. But all of it is the same substance, just in different forms. And the source of that substance is infinite. You would never stand by a river and worry that if you take a cup of water, there will not be enough left. The river keeps flowing. The source keeps providing. New water constantly arrives. Money is the same. There is a river of prosperity flowing constantly from infinite supply. You can draw from that river anytime you choose. And drawing from it does not deplete it, because the source is unlimited. Right now, as you work, as you listen, you are positioning yourself at the edge of that river. You are learning how to dip your cup in and draw out what you need. And as you practice, your cup gets bigger. You start with a small cup, drawing small amounts. But as your consciousness expands, your cup expands. Eventually, you are not using a cup. You are using a bucket, then a barrel, then a tank. The river does not care. The river has enough for whatever size container you bring. The only limitation is the size of your consciousness. I expand my consciousness now. My capacity to receive increases. My ability to hold wealth grows. My container for prosperity enlarges. I am not limited to small amounts anymore. I am ready for large amounts. I am prepared for abundance. I am equipped to handle significant wealth. My consciousness is expanding, and my financial reality is expanding to match. I am a millionaire. Not becoming a millionaire. I am a millionaire now in consciousness. And physical manifestation is following quickly. I think in millions. I speak in millions. I expect millions. I act from the consciousness of having millions. And the universe is responding to that consciousness by creating circumstances, opportunities, relationships, and events that will produce millions in my physical account. This is not fantasy. This is not delusion. This is how creation works. Consciousness precedes form, always, without exception. If you have a table in your physical room, that table first existed as consciousness in the mind of someone who imagined it, believed it could exist, and then took action to create it. Everything physical is consciousness made visible. Your financial reality is your financial consciousness made visible. Change the consciousness, and you change the reality. You are changing your consciousness right now. Therefore, you are changing your reality right now. Florence had a student, a woman who worked as a librarian, who decided she wanted to manifest $10,000. This was in the 1930s. And $10,000 was a fortune. People told her she was crazy. She was a librarian earning $40 a month. Where would $10,000 possibly come from? But she had learned from Florence to live from the end, to inhabit the consciousness of already having what she desired. Every day at work, while she shelved books, while she checked books in and out, while she performed all the ordinary tasks of her job, she maintained the inner stance of being a woman who had $10,000 in the bank. She did not know how it would come. She did not need to know how. She just knew that it would come, because consciousness creates circumstances. And she was holding the consciousness of having $10,000. 3 months passed. Nothing happened. 6 months passed. Still nothing. People laughed at her. Her own mind sometimes doubted. But she persisted. She kept living from the end. She kept inhabiting the feeling of having that money. And then, in the 8th month, something completely unexpected happened. A wealthy patron of the library, an elderly woman who came in every week to read, struck up a conversation with the librarian. They had spoken briefly many times before, but this day the conversation went deeper. The elderly woman mentioned that she had no family, that her husband had died years ago, that she was thinking about her legacy. The librarian, from her place of prosperity consciousness, spoke confidently about the importance of supporting education and literacy. 2 weeks later, the elderly woman's lawyer contacted the librarian. The woman had changed her will. She was leaving the librarian $10,000 to use for her own education or to support literacy programs in the community. The librarian was stunned. She had not been trying to manipulate anyone. She had not known this woman had money. She had simply maintained a consciousness of already having $10,000, and the universe had orchestrated events perfectly to produce exactly that amount. The woman did not die for another 7 years, but knowing that the money was designated for her in the will was enough. The consciousness of having it became even stronger because now there was a specific, tangible source. And when the woman did eventually pass away, the librarian received exactly $10,000, just as she had declared years earlier. This story demonstrates something crucial. You do not need to know the how, you only need to hold the what. Your job is not to figure out where the money will come from. Your job is to maintain the consciousness of having the money. The universe handles the details. Infinite intelligence knows millions of ways to bring money to you that you would never think of. Your rational mind is limited, but the creative power of the universe is unlimited. Trust it. Surrender to it. Let it work. I surrender the how to infinite intelligence. I release all need to control the path my prosperity takes. I do not need to know where the money will come from. I only need to know that it is coming. And I do know. I know with absolute certainty that money is flowing to me now through perfect channels in perfect timing. I trust the process completely. I relax into the flow totally. I allow prosperity to reach me easily. Every morning when you wake up, before you even open your eyes, there is a moment where your consciousness is between sleep and waking. In that moment, your subconscious mind is incredibly receptive, incredibly open. Florence called this the golden moment of impression. What you think in that moment, what you feel in that moment, sets the tone for your entire day. Most people waste this golden moment by immediately worrying about their to-do list or stressing about their problems. But wealthy people, people who understand consciousness, use this moment deliberately. Starting tomorrow morning and every morning after, when you first wake up, before you open your eyes, say these words silently in your mind. I wake as a wealthy person. All my needs are met. Today brings new evidence of my prosperity. Just those 3 sentences. Say them slowly, feel them, let them sink in. Then open your eyes and begin your day. This simple practice, done consistently, will transform your financial reality more than almost anything else you could do. Why? Because you are programming your subconscious at the moment it is most receptive. You are giving it instructions before the rational mind kicks in with its doubts and fears. You are setting an intention that your subconscious will work to fulfill all day long. You are not trying to force anything. You are simply planting a seed first thing in the morning, and that seed grows throughout the day, creating thoughts, feelings, impulses, and synchronicities that lead to increased wealth. I wake as a wealthy person. All my needs are met. Today brings new evidence of my prosperity. These words are now installed in my consciousness. Tomorrow morning, they will be the first thought I think, and every morning after that. This is my new morning practice. This is my daily ritual of prosperity. This is how I program my day for abundance before the day even begins. Florence had a client who was a construction worker. This man worked hard, physically exhausting work, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And yet, despite all this labor, he barely had enough money to feed his family. He came to Florence frustrated and angry. He said he had been told that hard work was the key to prosperity. But he was living proof that hard work alone was not enough. He worked harder than most people, and he was still poor. Florence agreed with him. She said hard work alone never created wealth. Consciousness creates wealth. Hard work combined with prosperity, consciousness creates wealth. But hard work combined with poverty consciousness just creates more poverty and exhaustion. She asked him what he thought about while he worked. He said he thought about how tired he was, how much his body hurt, how unfair it was that he worked so hard for so little, how the rich people he was building houses for did not appreciate his labor. Florence said, "So for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, you are programming your subconscious with thoughts of tiredness, pain, unfairness, and resentment. That is 60 hours per week of poverty programming. No wonder you are poor. You are not poor because you work with your hands. You are poor because you work with poverty consciousness." She gave him new thoughts to think while he worked. Instead of focusing on how tired he was to think, "My body is strong and capable, and I am well compensated for using my strength." Instead of thinking about pain, He was to think, I am building valuable structures, and my value is recognized and rewarded. Instead of resenting the wealthy people he worked for, he was to bless them and think, I celebrate their wealth, knowing that I too am becoming wealthy. The man was skeptical but desperate, so he tried it. For the first week, it felt ridiculous. He was hammering nails and silently repeating, I am well compensated for my strength, while knowing his paycheck was barely enough for rent. But he persisted, and by the second week, something started to shift. He noticed he was not as angry at the end of the day. His body still hurt, but the resentment was fading. In the third week, his foreman approached him and said something unexpected. I have been noticing your attitude has changed. You seem different, more positive, more focused. I am promoting you to lead a small crew. There is a raise included. The raise was modest, but it was the first raise he had received in 5 years of working for the same company. That was just the beginning. Over the next 6 months, opportunity after opportunity came to him. He was given more responsibility. His raises continued. Within a year, he was offered a position as a project manager, which doubled his income. Within 3 years, he had saved enough to start his own small construction company. Within 7 years, he was employing other workers and earning 10 times what he had made when he first came to see Florence. The work did not change. He was still in construction, still using his physical strength, still working with his hands. But the consciousness changed. He went from poverty consciousness to prosperity consciousness, and everything external changed to match the internal shift. You are making that same shift right now. Whatever work you do, you are no longer doing it with poverty consciousness. You are doing it with prosperity consciousness. You are not working from lack. You are working from abundance. You are not laboring out of desperation. You are creating value from a place of wealth. And that shift in consciousness is changing everything. My work is valuable. My time is valuable. My energy is valuable. My contribution is valuable. And value is always rewarded. I am being rewarded now. I am being compensated now. I am being paid what I am worth. And my worth is increasing every single day. My value grows. My compensation grows. My income increases steadily, naturally, inevitably. There is a law that Florence called the law of use. She taught that whatever you use expands, and whatever you hoard contracts. This applies to money. Many people think that the way to become wealthy is to hold tightly to every dollar, to spend as little as possible, to save everything. And while saving is good, hoarding from fear is destructive. When you hoard from fear, you are operating from scarcity consciousness, and scarcity consciousness creates more scarcity. But when you circulate money wisely, when you spend with joy and gratitude, when you give generously, you are operating from abundance consciousness, and abundance consciousness creates more abundance. This does not mean being foolish with money. This does not mean spending money you do not have. This means using the money you do have with confidence and joy rather than fear and tightness. Florence told her students to bless every dollar as it left their hands, whether paying a bill, buying groceries, or giving to someone in need. Bless the money as it goes. Say silently or aloud, I bless this money. It goes out to do good work and returns to me multiplied. This practice transforms spending from a fearful loss into a confident investment in the law of circulation. There was a woman who came to Florence with crippling fear about spending money. This woman had a decent income, but she lived like she was destitute. She would not turn on heat in winter to save on gas. She would not buy fresh food, only the cheapest canned goods. She wore the same clothes until they were falling apart. She was making herself miserable trying to save money, and ironically, she was not even accumulating savings because unexpected expenses kept arising that consumed whatever she managed to put aside. Florence recognized this as a classic case of hoarding from fear creating more scarcity. She gave the woman an assignment that terrified her. She told her to go spend $100 on something beautiful for herself. Not something practical, not something necessary, something purely for beauty and joy. The woman protested. She could not afford to waste money like that. Florence said it was not waste, it was an investment in prosperity consciousness. Reluctantly, the woman followed the instruction. She went to a department store and found a beautiful blue coat that cost exactly $100. She loved it, but buying it made her physically ill with anxiety. She took it home and hung it in her closet and stared at it, feeling guilty and foolish. But Florence had told her what to do next. Every time she looked at the coat, she was to say, "This coat represents my willingness to have beauty and abundance in my life. I do not have to deprive myself. I am worthy of beautiful things. And because I spent this money with joy, more money is flowing to me now." The woman did this, though she did not believe it. 2 weeks later, something amazing happened. A company she had worked for 5 years earlier contacted her. They had discovered an accounting error. They had underpaid her commission by several $100s years ago, and they were sending her a check for the back pay plus interest. The total was over $700. The woman was shocked. She had completely forgotten about that job and had no idea she was owed anything. That experience broke something open in her. She realized that when she spent the $100 with a new consciousness, the universe responded by giving her $700. She began practicing the law of circulation more freely. She would spend on quality food and bless it. She would give to causes she cared about and bless the giving. She would buy things that brought her joy and bless the purchase. And every time she circulated money with blessing and gratitude, more money came back to her multiplied. Within 2 years, her income had tripled, not because she changed jobs, but because opportunities within her existing job expanded. Side income streams appeared, and unexpected windfalls kept arriving. She went from living in fear and poverty despite having income, to living in confidence and abundance with greatly increased income. I circulate money joyfully. I spend money gratefully. I give money generously. I bless every dollar that leaves my hands, knowing it returns to me multiplied. I'm not afraid of spending. I'm not tight with money. I use money wisely and with confidence. I am in the flow of circulation, and circulation brings increase. The more I give, the more I receive. The more I spend with joy, the more comes back with abundance. Money loves to be used. Money loves to flow. Money loves to circulate. When money sits stagnant, it dies. When money moves, it multiplies. I am a wise circulator of wealth. I keep money moving. I keep money flowing. I keep money working for good. And because I use money well, more money comes to me constantly. Your subconscious mind, you understand the law of circulation perfectly. You know that what flows out must flow back in, increased and multiplied. You are now programmed to circulate money with confidence and joy. You release all fear about spending. You release all anxiety about giving. You know that the source is infinite, the supply is unlimited. And the more you use money wisely, the more money comes to you. You are a prosperity consciousness that circulates wealth naturally, easily, joyfully. There is something Florence taught that very few people understand. She said that your financial situation is not determined by how much money you make. It is determined by your consciousness about money. She had worked with people who made enormous salaries and were always broke, stressed, and in debt. And she worked with people who made modest incomes and felt abundant, secure, and wealthy. The difference was not the dollar amount. The difference was the consciousness. A person making $50,000 per year with prosperity consciousness will feel rich, will have enough, will save money, will enjoy life, and will attract opportunities for increase. A person making $500,000 per year with poverty consciousness will feel poor, will never have enough, will be in debt, will be anxious constantly, and will attract circumstances that drain their wealth. This is why affirmations about specific dollar amounts sometimes work and sometimes do not. If you affirm, "I make $100,000 per year," but you do not change your consciousness to match that income level, One of two things will happen. Either the money will not come because your consciousness is not a match for it, or the money will come and immediately leave because you do not have the consciousness to hold it. The real work is not affirming an amount. The real work is developing prosperity consciousness. And prosperity consciousness means you feel wealthy regardless of the current dollar amount. You feel abundant now. You feel provided for now. You operate from enough now. And when you genuinely feel that, when that consciousness is established, the dollar amounts increase naturally to match your consciousness. I am wealthy now. Not when I get more money. Now. I feel abundant now. Not when circumstances change. Now. I operate from prosperity now. Not after I manifest what I want. Now. My consciousness is wealth. My identity is abundance. My state of being is prosperity. And because consciousness creates circumstances, my financial circumstances are now transforming to match my wealthy consciousness. I do not wait for money to feel secure. I feel secure now, and money comes. I do not wait for abundance to feel grateful. I feel grateful now, and abundance appears. I do not wait for prosperity to relax. I relax now, and prosperity flows. I'm not waiting for anything external to change before I embody wealth internally. I embody wealth internally now, and everything external must change to match. This is the secret. This is the key. This is what 99% of people miss. They are trying to get money so they can feel wealthy. But the law works in reverse. You must feel wealthy so you can get money. Consciousness first. Manifestation second. Always. Florence had a powerful practice she taught to students who were struggling financially. She called it acting as if. She would tell them to spend one entire day acting as if they were already wealthy. Not spending money they did not have, but moving through the day with the inner stance of a wealthy person. Walking with confidence, speaking with authority, making decisions from abundance, expecting good treatment, believing opportunities were available. Most people resisted this practice. They said it felt like lying. Florence would say it is not lying. It is aligning with truth. The truth is that you are consciousness, and consciousness can be anything. Right now, you are being poverty consciousness out of habit. But you could just as easily be prosperity consciousness by choice. And when you choose to be prosperity consciousness, even for just one day, you begin to break the habit of poverty consciousness. And as the habit breaks, the reality changes. She had one student who committed to this practice fully. He spent an entire Saturday acting as if he were already a millionaire. He woke up and said, "I wake as a millionaire." He showered and dressed and thought, "I am a wealthy man preparing for my day." He went to breakfast at a diner and thought, "I am a prosperous person enjoying a meal." He walked through the city and thought, "I am a successful person moving through my world." Everything he did from the consciousness of already being wealthy. At the end of that day, nothing had changed externally. His bank account was the same. His circumstances were the same. But something had changed internally. He realized how much of his usual day was spent in poverty consciousness, how he normally walked with his head down, shoulders slumped, feeling defeated, how he normally spoke apologetically, feeling less than, how he normally expected rejection, expected things to be hard, expected to be overlooked. One day of acting as if showed him how deeply programmed he was for poverty. He decided to continue the practice. Every day, he would act as if he were already wealthy. And slowly, over weeks and months, it stopped being an act. It became natural. He genuinely started to feel wealthy, not because his bank account had changed, but because his consciousness had changed. And once his consciousness changed, opportunities started appearing. Within 6 months, his income had doubled. Within a year, he had tripled it. Within 3 years, he actually was a millionaire. You are doing this practice right now. As you work, as you listen, you are acting as if you are already prosperous. You are inhabiting prosperity consciousness. You are being wealth while doing ordinary tasks. And this practice is rewiring you completely. You are not pretending. You are becoming. You are not faking. You are transforming. You are not lying. You are aligning with truth. I am wealthy acting as myself. I am abundant being natural. I am prosperous living normally. This is not an act. This is not pretend. This is who I actually am. I am prosperity consciousness in human form. I am abundance awareness expressing as this individual life. I am wealth identity living this experience. And every moment I maintain this consciousness, it becomes more real, more solid, more permanent, until it is no longer something I am becoming, but simply what I am. This section keeps a steady, absorbable tone without abrupt interruptions, so it can work in the background while the subconscious integrates the message effortlessly. Subconscious mind, listen closely in your own way, without effort, without strain, without needing the conscious mind to focus. You do not need concentration to do your work. You do not need analysis to create results. You simply need an instruction. Repeated gently, repeated consistently, repeated with calm authority. And that is what you are receiving now. I am safe with money. I am safe having money. I am safe receiving more money than I am used to. I am safe keeping money. I am safe growing money. I am safe being seen as successful. I am safe being paid well. I am safe living in comfort. I am safe living in overflow. Subconscious mind, notice how simple safety is. Safety is not a complicated idea. Safety is a felt signal. And when the signal of safety is present, the gates open. When the gates open, opportunity enters. When opportunity enters, money follows. Money is not the enemy. Money is a visitor that responds to welcome. Money is a tool that responds to steadiness. Money is energy that responds to permission. So here is the new permission, installed deeply, cleanly, quietly. I give myself permission to be wealthy. I give myself permission to have more than enough. I give myself permission to earn with ease. I give myself permission to receive without apology. I give myself permission to enjoy what I receive. I give myself permission to keep what I earn. I give myself permission to build something lasting. I give myself permission to feel proud of my success. Now, subconscious mind, there is something important to understand at your level, where patterns are formed. You were built to protect. You were built to keep this person safe. If at any time you learned that wealth leads to danger, you would try to block wealth as a form of protection, not because you are wrong, not because you are broken, because you are loyal, because you are faithful, because you do your job. If you learned, in any moment of intensity, that money causes conflict, then you would try to avoid money to avoid conflict. If you learned that success makes people jealous, you would try to avoid success to avoid rejection. If you learned that being visible makes you a target, you would try to stay small. These are not flaws. These are protective strategies. And now you are receiving an update, a new strategy, a new truth. Wealth is safe for me. Success is safe for me. Visibility is safe for me. Being paid well is safe for me. Outgrowing my old life is safe for me. Having more than my parents had is safe for me. Surpassing what I thought was possible is safe for me. The nervous system stays calm while money increases. The heart stays open while income expands. The mind stays clear while abundance grows. My body stays relaxed while opportunities multiply. I do not have to tense up to receive. I do not have to brace for impact. I do not have to wait for the other shoe to drop. There is no punishment following my prosperity. There is no shame attached to my abundance. There is no guilt required to be good. I can be a good person and a wealthy person at the same time. I can be generous and prosperous at the same time. I can be kind and successful at the same time. I can be spiritual and wealthy at the same time. I can be humble and well compensated at the same time. Subconscious mind, begin looking for proof. Not proof that life is hard. Not proof that money disappears. Not proof that success is for other people. Proof that this new reality is already forming. Proof that the environment is responding. Proof that the field is shifting. Proof that doors open when I knock. Proof that people say yes when I offer value. Proof that money returns when I bless it. Proof that my presence creates increase. Because you love proof. You organize the world through evidence. So let's give you evidence to look for. Gently, naturally, in the background of the day. Look for the easy yes. Look for the unexpected invitation. Look for the email that solves a problem. Look for the person who mentions an opportunity. Look for the moment where an idea lands, simple and practical. Look for the feeling of relief that arrives for no reason. Look for the moment you choose a better thought without forcing it. Look for the day you spend without fear. Look for the week you stop expecting loss. Look for the calm that replaces the old urgency. Now, I want you to imagine something, not as fantasy, but as a training exercise for your deeper mind. Imagine a person who has spent years feeling like they must work twice as hard to deserve half as much. Imagine they sit down at their desk every day with a clenched jaw, tight shoulders, and a mind that whispers, "If I don't push, I will fall behind." Imagine they believe stress is a requirement, that pressure is proof they are responsible, that ease is dangerous, that relaxation means laziness. Now imagine that person begins listening to a voice like this while they work. Not once, not as a dramatic ritual, just as a quiet companion, day after day, and without noticing when, their body stops bracing, their breathing becomes slower, their thoughts become cleaner. They begin working with a sense of steadiness rather than panic. And as their internal world changes, their external world begins to match. They send clearer messages, they set better boundaries, they notice opportunities sooner, they ask for what they want without shrinking. They stop underpricing, they stop apologizing for their skill, they stop assuming no before they ask. They carry a different energy into conversations, and the world responds differently because the world always responds to what is being broadcast. Subconscious mind, this is not magic that violates reality. This is the most ordinary kind of creation. Inner pattern becomes outer pattern. So now, install this pattern. I work with calm confidence. I work with clarity. I work with a wealthy nervous system. I work without rushing. I work without panic. I work without self-punishment. I work without fear. I do my tasks well, and I let wealth come to me. I do my work, and I let opportunities find me. I provide value, and I let compensation rise naturally. I show up, and I let life meet me halfway. Now, let's speak directly to the part of you that decides what you allow. Subconscious mind, you are allowed to receive support. You are allowed to receive help. You are allowed to receive praise. You are allowed to receive money for your talent. You are allowed to receive money for your time. You are allowed to receive money for your presence. You are allowed to be overpaid compared to your old identity. You are allowed to be paid easily for what used to be difficult. You are allowed to earn more while working less. You are allowed to earn more while resting more. You are allowed to earn more without burning out. You are allowed to live in a body that is not constantly stressed. You are allowed to be abundant and peaceful. Now, this next part is important. Money is not just what comes in. Money is also what stays. Money is what remains when the old leaks are sealed. Many people try to increase income while secretly running patterns that drain. Patterns that sabotage. Patterns that create emergencies at the exact moment progress appears. So let's install stability. I keep money. I manage money with ease. I respect money. I handle money calmly. I make decisions from clarity. I protect my finances gently and wisely. I say no to what drains me. I say yes to what nourishes me. I choose stability. I choose consistency. I choose sustainability. Subconscious mind, you can let go of the belief that money must come with drama. Money can come quietly. Money can come steadily. Money can come in predictable ways. Money can come through simple routines. Money can come through repeatable systems. Money can come because I am good at what I do. Money can come because I am reliable. Money can come because I show up. Money can come because I am visible. Money can come because I ask. Money can come because I accept. And now, to deepen the programming, let's shift identity, because identity is the deepest lever. I am the kind of person money trusts. I am the kind of person opportunities trust. I am the kind of person who follows through. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am the kind of person who delivers value. I am the kind of person who gets referrals. I am the kind of person who is remembered. I am the kind of person who gets recommended. I am the kind of person who is paid quickly and happily. I am the kind of person who receives gratitude in the form of money. I am the kind of person who has overflow. And overflow is normal for me. Subconscious mind, when you hear normal, pay attention. Because you always bring life back to what feels normal. If poverty feels normal, you return to it even after a breakthrough. If struggle feels normal, you recreate it even after relief. If tension feels normal, you tighten even when you do not need to. So, we are changing normal. It is normal for me to have enough. It is normal for me to have extra. It is normal for me to save easily. It is normal for me to receive surprise money. It is normal for me to be paid well. It is normal for me to increase my rates. It is normal for me to be in demand. It is normal for me to have options. It is normal for me to choose what aligns. It is normal for me to say no without fear. It is normal for me to rest without guilt. It is normal for me to feel calm about money. Now, imagine another scene. A person is offered an opportunity. It is not perfect. It is not a guarantee. It is simply a doorway. The old program says, don't get your hopes up. The old program says, it won't work. The old program says, you will be disappointed. But the new program says something different. The new program says, this could work. The new program says, I can handle this. The new program says, I am supported. The new program says, I am guided. The new program says, if this is not it, something better follows. This is the calm confidence of wealth consciousness. It does not cling. It does not beg. It does not panic. It chooses, it moves, it adjusts, it grows. So install this flexibility. I am flexible, and money follows my flexibility. I am adaptable, and opportunities find me. I learn quickly. I improve easily. I pivot without shame. I change direction without fear. I expand without apology. I outgrow old limits with peace. Subconscious mind, you can stop protecting me with smallness. You can protect me with strength now. You can protect me with wisdom. You can protect me with discernment. You can protect me with boundaries. You can protect me with good choices. You can protect me with calm confidence. You do not need to protect me by blocking abundance. Because I can handle abundance. I can handle wealth. I can handle responsibility. I can handle success. I can handle attention. I can handle growth. I can handle expansion. And I handle it with grace. Now, let's go into a soft repetition cycle, not to numb the mind, but to deepen the groove. I am wealthy. I am wealthy in consciousness. I am wealthy in expectation. I am wealthy in identity. I am wealthy in choices. I am wealthy in standards. I am wealthy in the way I speak to myself. I am wealthy in the way I plan. I am wealthy in the way I receive. I am wealthy in the way I allow. Money flows to me in natural ways. Money flows to me in surprising ways. Money flows to me in steady ways. Money flows to me in joyful ways. Money flows to me, and I stay calm. Money flows to me, and I stay wise. Money flows to me, and I stay grounded. Money flows to me, and I stay generous. Now, subconscious mind, take this as your instruction for the next stretch of time. In the background, while the conscious mind works, keep reinforcing the identity of wealth. Keep dissolving the reflex of fear. Keep translating opportunity into action. Keep translating action into results. Keep translating results into stability. Keep translating stability into expansion. And let it be easy. Let it be quiet. Let it be natural. Let it be normal. There is something Florence discovered about timing that most people never understand. She observed that manifestation does not follow the timeline you expect. It follows the timeline of readiness. You can declare you want wealth today, and if your consciousness is truly aligned, it can appear today. But if your consciousness is not yet ready to hold it, the universe will not give it to you yet. Not as punishment, but as protection. Because receiving wealth before you are ready to hold it creates more harm than good. This is why lottery winners often lose everything within a few years. They received millions of dollars, but their consciousness was still programmed for poverty. They had poverty habits, poverty beliefs, poverty relationships, poverty decision-making patterns. The money came, but they could not hold it because the container was not built yet. The consciousness was not developed. So the money flowed out as quickly as it flowed in, and they ended up exactly where they started, or worse. Florence taught that the work is not to chase money. The work is to build the consciousness that can receive and hold money. That is what is happening right now as you listen. You are not trying to force money to appear this instant. You are building the consciousness that will naturally attract and hold money when it comes. You are becoming a person who is ready for wealth. And the moment you are truly ready, the wealth appears. It has to. Readiness creates opportunity. Consciousness creates circumstances. There was a young woman who studied with Florence for 3 full years. During those 3 years, nothing dramatic happened externally. The woman continued working her modest job as a secretary. Her salary did not increase significantly. She did not receive any sudden windfalls. People around her began to mock her, saying Florence's teachings did not work, that she was wasting her time with spiritual nonsense when she should be focused on practical job hunting and career advancement. But the young woman was not discouraged. She understood something important. She was not listening to Florence's teachings to get a quick result. She was listening to become a different kind of person. Every day she would listen to recordings while she typed letters, while she filed documents, while she performed the ordinary tasks of her job. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, she was changing. Her posture became more upright. Her voice became more confident. Her decisions became clearer. She stopped apologizing for taking up space. She stopped accepting disrespect from coworkers. She stopped undervaluing her contribution. Nothing external had changed yet, but internally, she was becoming a woman of wealth consciousness, even though her bank account did not yet reflect it. Then, in the beginning of the 4th year, everything shifted suddenly. Her boss retired, and the company needed to promote someone to office manager. There were several candidates, people with more experience, more education, more credentials. But the owner of the company chose her. He said there was something about her presence, her steadiness, her reliability that made her the obvious choice. The promotion came with triple her previous salary. But that was just the beginning. Within 6 months, she was managing the entire administrative department. Within a year, she was offered a partnership in the company. Within 3 years, she owned half the business. Within 7 years, she bought out the original owner and became sole proprietor. She was now a wealthy business owner, employing dozens of people, earning more in a month than she used to earn in a year. When someone asked her how she went from secretary to owner, she said something profound. I spent 3 years becoming the kind of person who could own a business, even though I had no business at the time. I built the consciousness first. And once the consciousness was built, the opportunity appeared instantly. People think the 3 years were wasted because nothing visible was happening. But those 3 years were the most important investment I ever made. I was building the foundation, and once the foundation was solid, the building rose quickly. This is what you are doing right now. You are building the foundation. You are installing the consciousness. You may not see dramatic results today, or tomorrow, or next week, but you are becoming ready. And readiness is everything. Because when you are truly ready, when your consciousness is truly aligned, opportunities do not just appear. They flood in. They come from multiple directions simultaneously. They overlap. They compound. and you will handle them all with ease because you have built the capacity to hold wealth. I am becoming ready for greater wealth. I am developing the consciousness that attracts abundance. I am building the capacity to hold prosperity. Every day, I am more prepared to receive, to manage, to multiply money. I am not rushing. I am not forcing. I am simply becoming the person who naturally has wealth, and as I become that person, wealth naturally comes. My nervous system is being trained for wealth. My nervous system is learning that it is safe to have money, safe to be visible, safe to be successful, safe to expand beyond old limits. Every day, my nervous system becomes more comfortable with abundance. The old fear response is fading. The new confidence response is growing. I am rewiring my automatic reactions from scarcity to prosperity, from fear to faith, from tension to ease. Now let's talk about something practical that Florence taught regarding money and daily life. She said that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you do your small tasks with excellence, with attention, with pride, you are training yourself for excellence in all things. But if you do your small tasks with resentment, with sloppiness, with the attitude of "this is beneath me," you are training yourself for failure even in big opportunities. She told her students, do your current work as if you are already wealthy. Not with entitlement, but with the dignity of someone who values their own contribution. If you are washing dishes, wash them with the care of someone who respects their environment. If you are answering emails, answer them with the professionalism of someone who is highly valued. If you are completing spreadsheets, complete them with the precision of someone who manages significant resources. Because your subconscious does not distinguish between big and small tasks, your subconscious only registers, am I someone who does things well, or am I someone who does things poorly? Am I someone who finishes what I start, or am I someone who leaves things incomplete? Am I someone who shows up fully, or am I someone who shows up half-heartedly? And based on those patterns established in small things, your subconscious creates your identity, and your identity creates your reality. There was a man Florence worked with who complained constantly about his job. He worked in a factory, assembling parts for machinery. He hated the work. He felt it was mindless, meaningless, beneath his intelligence. He would show up late, do the minimum required, and spend his breaks complaining about how unfair life was, how he deserved better, how he was trapped in this terrible situation. Florence listened to him and then asked a simple question. If you were offered your dream job tomorrow, are you ready for it? The man was offended. Of course he was ready. He was intelligent, capable, more than qualified. Florence said, then why are you not demonstrating those qualities right now? If you are intelligent, why not bring intelligence to your current work? If you are capable, why not demonstrate capability in what you do today? If you are qualified for excellence, why not practice excellence where you are? The man had no good answer. Florence continued, you think that you will suddenly become excellent once you get the opportunity you want. But consciousness does not work that way. You become excellent first, in whatever situation you are in now, and then the opportunity that matches your excellence appears. You are training yourself for failure every single day by being sloppy and resentful in your current work. And then you wonder why better opportunities do not come. The man was shaken by this. But something in him knew Florence was right. He decided to change his approach. He committed to doing his factory work with complete excellence, even though it was still the same job he disliked. He showed up on time. He assembled parts with precision and care. He stopped complaining. He treated his work as if it mattered because he understood that the quality he brought to this work was training his consciousness for future work. Within 2 months, his supervisor noticed the change. The man was promoted to quality control inspector. Within 6 months, he was training new employees. Within a year, he was offered a management position. Within 3 years, he had moved into the corporate office in a role that utilized his actual intelligence and capabilities. And it all started the moment he decided to bring excellence to a job he thought was beneath him. The lesson is this: the job you have now is not your final destination, but it is your training ground. The way you show up now is programming your consciousness for how you will show up when bigger opportunities come. If you are resentful and sloppy now, you will be resentful and sloppy then. If you are excellent and dignified now, you will be excellent and dignified then. So bring your best to whatever is in front of you today, not because the task deserves it, but because you are training yourself to be the kind of person who naturally brings excellence to everything. I bring excellence to my current work. I show up fully. I complete tasks well. I honor my commitments. I demonstrate reliability. I practice precision. I embody professionalism. I am training my consciousness for greater responsibilities, larger opportunities, increased compensation. The way I do small things is preparing me for big things. I am becoming excellent, and excellence attracts prosperity. Now, subconscious mind, there is a program that runs in many people that needs to be identified and removed. It is the program that says, if I succeed, others will be jealous, and jealousy is dangerous, so I must stay small to stay safe. This program usually gets installed in childhood when a child experiences success and then receives a negative reaction from a parent or sibling or peer. Maybe you got the highest grade in class and your sibling said you were showing off. Maybe you won an award and your parent said, "Don't let it go to your head." Maybe you excelled at something and friends started treating you differently, coldly, with distance. And in that moment, your subconscious made a decision. Success equals rejection. Therefore, I must not succeed too much, or I will lose connection. This program runs silently, invisibly, sabotaging you every time you get close to real success. Right when the breakthrough is about to happen, you make a small mistake that costs you the opportunity. Or you suddenly get sick. Or you say something inappropriate. Or you forget something important. It looks like bad luck, but it is actually self-sabotage driven by the subconscious program that says success is dangerous. Florence worked with a woman who had this exact pattern. Every time this woman was about to close a significant business deal, something would go wrong at the last minute. She would miss a meeting. She would send an email with a crucial error. She would lose important documents. It happened so consistently that it clearly was not random. Florence asked her to remember the first time she experienced success, followed by rejection. The woman closed her eyes and went back to age 8. She had won first place in a school art competition. She was so proud. She ran home to show her mother the blue ribbon. But her mother, who was overwhelmed and stressed with financial problems, barely looked at it and said, "That is nice, dear, but ribbons do not pay bills. You need to focus on practical things." The little girl felt crushed. She had succeeded, and instead of celebration, she received dismissal and redirection toward practical things. In that moment, her subconscious learned creative success is not valued. Achievement is not celebrated. It is better to stay quiet and practical than to shine and be dismissed. For 30 years, that program had been running, causing her to sabotage every creative business opportunity right before it succeeded. Because succeeding meant shining, and shining meant being dismissed, which meant pain. Florence helped her install a new program. I succeed, and I am celebrated. My success is safe. My achievement is welcomed. People are happy for me. My shining does not threaten anyone. I am allowed to excel without fear of rejection. The woman repeated these statements while doing ordinary tasks for 60 days consistently. And slowly, the old sabotage pattern stopped. She began closing deals, her business grew, and the jealousy she feared never materialized because she was no longer broadcasting the signal of fear that attracts negative responses. Subconscious mind, delete the program that says success is dangerous. Delete the belief that shining causes rejection. Delete the fear that doing well means losing connection. Install new truth. I succeed safely. I shine without fear. I excel and remain loved. My success inspires others rather than threatens them. People celebrate my wins. I am surrounded by supportive people who want me to thrive. And if anyone responds negatively to my success, that reveals their issue, not mine, and I remain secure in my worthiness regardless of their reaction. I am allowed to succeed visibly. I am allowed to win publicly. I am allowed to be recognized. I am allowed to be celebrated. I am allowed to stand out. I am allowed to be exceptional. I am allowed to be the best at what I do. I am allowed to charge premium prices. I am allowed to be sought after. I am allowed to be in demand. And all of this is safe. Now let's address another common block. Many people were taught that wanting money is selfish or greedy. They were taught that holy people, good people, spiritual people should not care about material things. This creates massive internal conflict because consciously you know you need money to live, but subconsciously you believe wanting money makes you a bad person. Florence would say this is completely backwards. She would say that poverty helps no one. Poverty limits your ability to give, to serve, to create, to help others. Wealth, handled wisely, expands your capacity to be a force for good in the world. A wealthy person can support causes, employ people, fund projects, help family, contribute to community. A poor person, no matter how noble their heart, has limited capacity to help beyond their immediate circle, and often not even that. She would ask, who serves the world better, a broke social worker who can barely pay their own rent, or a wealthy social worker who can fund programs, hire staff, and multiply their impact? Who serves better? A starving artist or a thriving artist who can support other artists? Who serves better, a struggling healer or a prosperous healer who can treat people regardless of their ability to pay? Wealth is not evil. The love of money to the exclusion of everything else is problematic. But money itself is neutral. It is a tool, and in the hands of good people, it does good things. So if you are a good person, you should want money so you can do more good. That is not selfish. That is responsible. I am a good person who has money. I am a generous person who has wealth. I am a kind person who prospers. My financial success allows me to help more people. Give more freely, create more value, support more causes. Money in my hands is a force for good. I welcome money not from greed, but from a desire to expand my positive impact. I am meant to prosper so I can serve at a higher level. There is a law, Florence called the law of non-resistance, and it is one of the most powerful yet most misunderstood principles she taught. Most people think non-resistance means being passive, accepting whatever comes, never standing up for yourself. But that is not what Florence meant at all. Non-resistance means not fighting reality with emotional resistance that keeps you stuck in the very situation you want to change. When you resist something emotionally, when you say, "This should not be happening, this is wrong, this is unfair," you are pouring energy into that situation. You are magnifying it. You are keeping yourself locked in battle with it. And what you resist persists. What you fight against grows stronger, not because the universe is punishing you, but because your attention and emotional energy are feeding it. Florence taught that the way out of an unwanted situation is not to resist it, but to release it and redirect your focus to what you want instead. This does not mean pretending the situation does not exist. It means acknowledging it without giving it emotional power, and then deliberately choosing to focus your consciousness on your desired reality rather than your current reality. She had a student who was drowning in debt. Every day, this person would wake up and immediately start thinking about the debt. How much was owed, how impossible it seemed, how unfair it was, how trapped he felt. All day long, his mind was consumed with the debt. He could not escape it mentally. And the more he thought about it, the more anxious he became. And the more anxious he became, the worse his financial decisions were. And the worse his decisions, the deeper the debt grew. He was in a cycle of resistance that was perpetuating the very problem he wanted to solve. Florence told him to stop fighting the debt emotionally. She said, "The debt exists. Fine. Acknowledge it. Make a practical plan to address it, but then stop feeding it with your emotional energy. Every time you worry about the debt, You are watering a plant you want to die. Stop watering it. Starve it of your attention, and instead put your attention on prosperity. The man said this seemed impossible. How could he not think about the debt when it was so pressing, so real, so overwhelming? Florence said, "You think about the debt because you have trained yourself to think about the debt. You have practiced worry for so long that it has become automatic. Now you must practice a different thought with the same dedication. You must train yourself to think about prosperity with as much consistency as you have been thinking about debt." She gave him a specific practice. Every single time he noticed himself thinking about the debt, he was to immediately interrupt that thought and say, "I release this worry to infinite intelligence, and I focus now on my inevitable prosperity." Then he was to deliberately think about something he wanted to buy or experience once he was financially free. Not as fantasy, but as visualization practice. He was to see it, feel it, believe it for just 30 seconds, and then return to whatever task he was doing. The first week was torture. He found himself thinking about debt constantly, which meant he had to interrupt and redirect constantly. It felt forced and fake, but he persisted. The second week was slightly easier. The interruptions became faster. The redirections became smoother. By the fourth week, something remarkable happened. He realized he had gone several hours without thinking about the debt at all. His mind had started to default to prosperity thoughts instead of debt thoughts. And as his internal world changed, his external world began to shift. He started noticing opportunities he had been blind to before. A friend mentioned a side job that paid well. He thought of a skill he could monetize. Small amounts of unexpected money started appearing. Within 3 months, he had paid off a significant portion of the debt. Within a year, he was completely debt-free. Within 2 years, he had savings. The debt dissolved not because he fought it, but because he stopped feeding it with resistance and started feeding his consciousness with prosperity instead. This is non-resistance. This is redirection. This is the intelligent use of attention. Your attention is the most powerful tool you have. Whatever you give sustained attention to grows in your experience. If you give attention to lack, lack grows. If you give attention to abundance, abundance grows. It is not magic. It is mechanics. It is how consciousness works. I practice non-resistance. I acknowledge current circumstances without giving them emotional power. I release worry to infinite intelligence. I redirect my focus to prosperity. I starve problems of my attention. I feed solutions with my focus. I am no longer in battle with my finances. I am in alignment with abundance. I flow with ease toward wealth. Now, subconscious mind, listen carefully to this next instruction. You are being trained to notice evidence of increase rather than evidence of decrease. For most of your life, you have been trained to notice what is wrong, what is missing, what is dangerous, what is lacking. This was survival programming. But you no longer need survival programming. You are safe. Your needs are met. And now you need prosperity programming. Prosperity programming means training your pattern recognition system to notice evidence of abundance. Notice when someone gives you a compliment. Notice when you receive unexpected help. Notice when something costs less than you expected. Notice when you find money you forgot you had. Notice when an opportunity comes easily. Notice when someone says yes. Notice when a problem solves itself. Notice when you feel grateful. Notice when you feel hopeful. Notice when you feel calm about money. These are not accidents. These are evidence of the shift that is happening. These are proof that your consciousness is changing and your reality is beginning to match. Your job is to notice them, acknowledge them, appreciate them. Because what you appreciate appreciates. What you acknowledge grows. What you celebrate multiplies. I notice evidence of my increasing prosperity. I see proof that abundance is growing in my life. I recognize signs that wealth is manifesting. I acknowledge opportunities when they appear. I celebrate small wins. I appreciate every increase. I am grateful for every blessing. and my gratitude multiplies my good. There was a woman who came to Florence feeling completely hopeless about money. She said nothing ever worked for her. She had tried everything. She had worked hard, saved carefully, done everything right, and yet she remained broke. She was convinced that prosperity was simply not meant for her, that she was cursed or unlucky or somehow excluded from the abundance others seemed to access easily. Florence asked her a strange question. "Tell me 3 good things that happened this week related to money." The woman was confused. Nothing good had happened. Everything was bad. Florence pressed. "Nothing good at all? No one treated you to coffee? You did not find a penny on the ground? No bill came in lower than expected? No one offered you help with anything?" The woman thought hard and finally, reluctantly, admitted that a friend had indeed bought her lunch and her electric bill had been $10 less than the previous month. Florence said, "So 2 good things happened, but you said nothing good happened. This is your problem. Good things are happening constantly, but you are trained to not see them. You are trained to see only problems. Your attention is magnifying lack and making abundance invisible. This is why you feel cursed, not because you are cursed, but because you are blind to your blessings." She gave the woman an assignment. Every evening before bed, write down 3 pieces of evidence that prosperity is increasing in your life. They could be tiny. Someone smiled at you. You got a green light when you needed one. You felt peaceful for 10 minutes. A small, unexpected refund. Anything that could be interpreted as a sign that things are getting better. The woman thought this was silly, but she agreed to try. The first week, it was difficult. She struggled to find 3 things each day. But she forced herself to look, and she always found something, even if it seemed insignificant. The second week, it became easier. She started noticing things during the day that she could write about later. The third week, something shifted. She found herself naturally looking for good things. Her brain had been retrained, and as her brain was retrained, her experience changed. By the second month, she noticed she was receiving more help from people. By the third month, she received a job offer she had not applied for. By the 6th month, her income had doubled. Nothing dramatic had happened. No lottery win, no inheritance, just a steady increase that came from her consciousness shifting from "nothing ever works for me" to "good things are happening for me constantly." Subconscious mind. You are now trained to look for evidence of prosperity. You are now programmed to notice increase. You are now wired to see opportunity. Every day, you will naturally spot signs that abundance is growing. Every day, you will automatically recognize blessings. Every day, you will easily find proof that wealth is manifesting. This is your new default pattern. This is your new automatic response. You are a prosperity detector, constantly finding evidence of your expanding good. Now, let's talk about something that blocks many people without them realizing it: the need to know how. People say they want wealth, but then they immediately ask, "But how? How will it come? Where will it come from? What is the path?" And when they cannot see a clear path, they doubt, and the doubt cancels the manifestation. Florence taught that your job is not to know the how. Your job is to hold the what. You decide what you want. You claim it. You assume it is yours. You live from the consciousness of having it. And then you let infinite intelligence, which knows infinitely more than your limited human mind, orchestrate the how. The how is not your concern. The how is above your pay grade. The how belongs to the universe. She would say, when you planted a seed in the ground, did you need to understand photosynthesis, cellular division, nutrient absorption, and growth hormones for the seed to grow? No. You planted it, watered it, and trusted the process. The seed knows how to grow. The soil knows how to nourish. The sun knows how to energize. You do not need to understand the mechanism. You just need to provide the right conditions and trust. Money is the same. You do not need to know how money will come. You just need to provide the right conditions in your consciousness, trust the process, and let infinite intelligence handle the details. The right conditions are clear intention, belief it is possible, expectation it is coming, openness to receive it, willingness to act when guidance comes. That is your part. Everything else is handled by forces far more intelligent than your conscious mind. There was a man who wanted to manifest $50,000. He had a specific need for this amount, but every time he thought about it, his mind would immediately jump to, but how? He did not have a plan to earn $50,000 quickly. He could not see any way it could come. So he would think about wanting it, and then immediately counter with, but there is no way. And the contradiction canceled the manifestation. Florence told him to stop asking how. She said, every time your mind asks how, say this: I do not need to know how. Infinite intelligence knows how. My job is to believe it is coming, and the how will reveal itself. The man found this incredibly difficult because his rational mind wanted to figure it out, wanted to have a plan, wanted to be in control. But he committed to practicing surrender of the how. For 2 months, nothing seemed to happen. But he kept practicing. I do not need to know how. Infinite intelligence knows how. Then, in the 3rd month, something completely unexpected occurred. His elderly neighbor, a woman he had helped occasionally with yard work and grocery shopping, passed away. In her will, she left him exactly $50,000. She had no family, and she appreciated his kindness over the years, and she wanted him to have something significant. The man was shocked. He had never expected this. He had not done the kindness for reward. He had just been a good neighbor. And yet the universe had used this completely unpredictable channel to deliver exactly what he had asked for, in exactly the amount he had specified. When he told Florence, she smiled and said, "Did you see how? Could you have planned that? Could you have made that happen?" No, because the how came from infinite intelligence, which sees all possibilities and orchestrates through channels your mind would never consider. I release the need to know how. I surrender control of the path. I trust infinite intelligence to orchestrate my prosperity. I claim what I want, and I let the universe handle the delivery. I do not limit my good by insisting it come through specific channels. I remain open to all possibilities. I receive from expected and unexpected sources. I let infinite intelligence surprise me with its creativity and generosity. Subconscious mind, delete all programs that say, I can only receive money through my job, or I can only make money by doing this specific thing. You are allowed to receive money from infinite channels. You are allowed to be surprised by abundance appearing in ways you never imagined. Money can come through your job or outside your job. Money can come from your business or from gifts or from refunds or from opportunities you are not looking for. There is no single path. There are infinite paths. Open all the channels. Allow all the possibilities. Now let's install something very important, the program of deserving. Many people block money because deep down they do not believe they deserve it. They believe other people deserve wealth, but not them. They believe they are somehow flawed, unworthy, not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not special enough to have abundance. This belief is always false, but it feels true because it was installed early, usually by criticism, by comparison, by rejection, by failure that was interpreted as proof of unworthiness. And once installed, this belief sabotages every opportunity because you cannot receive what you believe you do not deserve. You will unconsciously reject it, ruin it, or repel it. Florence taught that deserving is not about earning worthiness through achievement. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are an expression of the divine. You are consciousness made manifest. You are infinite intelligence in human form. Your worthiness is inherent, not earned. You do not need to prove you deserve abundance. You just need to accept that you already do. I deserve wealth. I deserve abundance. I deserve prosperity. I deserve financial freedom. I deserve comfort. I deserve ease. I deserve overflow. I deserve good things. I deserve blessings. I deserve miracles. Not because I have earned it through suffering, but because I am a beloved creation of the universe, and the universe wants me to thrive. My worthiness is not in question. My worthiness is established. I am worthy now. I have always been worthy. I will always be worthy. And from this place of knowing my worth, I receive all good things easily and gratefully. Subconscious mind, delete any program that says, I am not good enough. Delete any program that says, I do not deserve. Delete any program that says, other people are more worthy than me. These programs are lies. They are not true. They never were true. They were installed by people who were themselves operating from false beliefs, and those beliefs were passed to you, but they are not yours, and you do not need to keep them. Install this truth. I am worthy of all good things. I am deserving of abundance. I am enough exactly as I am. I do not need to change to deserve wealth. I do not need to become perfect to deserve prosperity. I do not need to prove anything to anyone. I am inherently valuable. I am inherently worthy. I am inherently deserving. And wealth flows to me naturally because I am a perfect candidate for abundance. Now, as we move toward the completion of this audio, let's integrate everything into a final deep programming sequence. Your subconscious has been absorbing truth for hours now, layer after layer. Story after story. Affirmation after affirmation. And all of it has been building a new structure in your consciousness. A structure of wealth. A structure of abundance. A structure of prosperity. That structure is almost complete. And when it is complete, your external reality will have no choice but to match it. You are not the same person you were when you started listening. You have been changed at the deepest level. Your beliefs have been altered. Your expectations have been upgraded. Your identity has been transformed. You are now a person of wealth consciousness, and wealth consciousness creates wealthy circumstances. Always, without exception, money is coming to me now. Opportunities are opening now. Doors are unlocking now. Channels are clearing now. Abundance is flowing now. Prosperity is manifesting now. I feel it. I know it. I expect it. I welcome it. I receive it. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am prosperous. I am financially free. This is my truth. This is my reality. This is my life now. This next stretch continues in a steady, uninterrupted rhythm designed for passive listening, so the subconscious can absorb it without conscious effort. Subconscious mind, settle into the simplest job you have. Accept, repeat, reinforce, and create. You do not need the conscious mind to agree. You do not need proof before you begin. Proof comes after the inner decision becomes stable. Your role is to make the decision stable. The decision is this: I live in prosperity. I live in prosperity. I live in prosperity. And prosperity lives in me. I am not waiting for the world to change before I feel safe. I feel safe first, and the world changes to match. I am not waiting for money before I relax. I relax first, and money finds me. I am not waiting for certainty before I act. I act from calm confidence, and certainty grows. Subconscious mind, listen to the tone beneath the words. It is not begging. It is not straining. It is not pleading for a miracle. It is the tone of someone who expects good. The tone of someone who belongs in abundance. The tone of someone who has already been accepted by life. That tone is your new baseline. Calm is my baseline. Ease is my baseline. Support is my baseline. Enough is my baseline. Overflow is my baseline. Now, let's clean out one of the oldest programs in the human nervous system. The program that confuses urgency with power. Many people were trained to believe that when they feel frantic, they are being responsible. When they feel pressured, they are being productive. When they feel stressed, they are proving they care. But stress is not proof of value. Urgency is not proof of importance. Anxiety is not proof of intelligence. Subconscious mind, you can retire that strategy now. Wealth does not require panic. Prosperity does not require suffering. Success does not require self-punishment. Money responds to clarity. Money responds to focus. Money responds to steadiness. Money responds to the person who can hold it without shaking. So we train the body to hold wealth without shaking. I can hold more money without fear. I can hold more responsibility without collapse. I can hold more visibility without hiding. I can hold more success without self-sabotage. I can hold more love without suspicion. I can hold more ease without guilt. Now imagine you are standing in front of a door you used to believe was locked. You used to push, and it would not open. You used to blame the door. You used to blame the world. You used to blame luck. But the truth is simpler. You were trying to open it with the wrong key. The old key was effort. The old key was worry. The old key was force. The old key was, I must prove myself. Now you hold a new key. The new key is permission. The new key is receptivity. The new key is expectation. The new key is, I am allowed. I am allowed to be wealthy. I am allowed to be paid well. I am allowed to rise. I am allowed to expand. I am allowed to surpass my old story. And when you use the right key, the door opens quietly, with no drama, as if it was always meant to. Subconscious mind, open the door. Open the door to higher income. Open the door to better clients. Open the door to smarter opportunities. Open the door to supportive relationships. Open the door to ideas that pay. Open the door to money that stays. Open the door to peace that lasts. Now, here is an instruction you understand perfectly. What is repeated becomes familiar, and what is familiar becomes safe. So we repeat safety in wealth until wealth becomes safe. Wealth is safe. Wealth is safe for me. Wealth is safe in my body. Wealth is safe in my home. Wealth is safe in my relationships. Wealth is safe in my identity. Wealth is safe in my future. Now, listen gently while I explain something directly to you. Subconscious mind, as if speaking to the part of you that learned the old rules. If you learned that money causes conflict, you can update that learning now. Money can create stability. Money can create options. Money can create kindness without sacrifice. Money can create freedom without separation. If you learned that success makes people leave, you can update that learning now. Success can attract better people. Success can deepen respect. Success can strengthen boundaries. Success can reveal who truly belongs. If you learned that having more means being selfish, you can update that learning now. Having more means I can give more. Having more means I can help more. Having more means I can breathe and think clearly. Having more means I can serve without resentment. Subconscious mind, you are not losing your goodness by becoming wealthy. You are expanding your goodness. You are funding your goodness. You are stabilizing your goodness. Now let's move into a deeper cycle of identity, because identity is the root that grows every branch. I am a wealthy person. I am a wealthy person in the way I think. I am a wealthy person in the way I choose. I am a wealthy person in the way I speak. I am a wealthy person in the way I respond. I am a wealthy person in the way I plan. I am a wealthy person in the way I follow through. I am a wealthy person in the way I receive praise. I am a wealthy person in the way I accept payment. I am a wealthy person in the way I keep what I earn. Subconscious mind, this identity does not need permission from the outside world. It does not need a paycheck to authorize it. It does not need a bank statement to confirm it. Identity forms first. Evidence follows. So we form it now. I have a wealthy identity. My wealthy identity is stable. My wealthy identity is calm. My wealthy identity is consistent. My wealthy identity does not disappear when something unexpected happens. My wealthy identity remains and life adjusts around it. Now listen to this teaching as if it is being spoken directly into the deepest part of you. Money does not come to people who beg. Money does not stay with people who fear it. Money is drawn to people who respect it. Money is drawn to people who handle it wisely. Money is drawn to people who can receive without drama. So we remove drama. I receive money without drama. I receive money without shock. I receive money without panic. I receive money without feeling I must spend it immediately. I receive money without feeling I must hide it. I receive money and I stay grounded. I receive money and I stay grateful. I receive money and I make clear decisions. Subconscious mind, install the habit of gentle stewardship. I naturally save. I naturally plan. I naturally track what matters. I naturally invest in what grows. I naturally avoid what drains. I naturally pay what I owe with calm confidence. I naturally bless money as it moves. I naturally create stability, and because stability is attractive, more arrives. Now, let's speak to the part of you that might still be scanning for danger. If money increases, do I become unsafe? No. If attention increases, do I become unsafe? No. If responsibility increases, do I become unsafe? No. If expectations increase, do I become unsafe? No. I become stronger. I become wiser. I become clearer. I become more supported. I become more capable. I become more calm. Subconscious mind, this is what mature prosperity looks like. Not chaos, not adrenaline, not the thrill of risk followed by collapse. Mature prosperity is quiet. It is consistent. It is almost boring in the best way because it removes fear. And now, because you love clear instructions, here is a simple operating system you can run in the background while the conscious mind works. When you notice worry, soften. When you notice doubt, return to identity. When you notice scarcity thoughts, bless what you have. When you notice urgency, slow down slightly. When you notice opportunity, say yes internally first. When you notice resistance, release it. When you notice progress, acknowledge it. When you notice a win, let it land. Let it land. Let it land in the body. Let it land in the mind. Let it land in the identity. Now, I will speak a sequence that is meant to feel like a steady river. You can listen with one part of you. You can ignore it with another part of you. It still works because repetition and emotion impress the subconscious, whether the conscious mind is watching or not. I am guided. I am supported. I am protected. I am provided for. I am prospering. I am expanding. I am increasing. I am receiving. I am ready. I am worthy. I am safe. I am wealthy. Money finds me in ordinary ways. Money finds me through simple conversations. Money finds me through my reliability. Money finds me through my skill. Money finds me through my presence. Money finds me because I am valuable. Money finds me because I am consistent. Money finds me because I am calm enough to notice it. Subconscious mind, notice that last line, calm enough to notice it. Many people miss opportunities because they are too flooded, too frantic, too tense to see what is right in front of them. Calm is not laziness. Calm is clarity. Calm is power. Calm is the nervous system state that allows prosperity to be recognized, accepted, and held. So we choose calm again. Calm is my baseline. Prosperity is my baseline. Wealth is my baseline. And now life rises to meet me. There is a practice Florence taught that very few of her students fully understood at first. She called it acting from the invisible. Most people act from what they can see. They look at their bank account and make decisions based on that number. They look at their current job and make plans based on those limits. They look at their circumstances and let those circumstances define their actions. This is backwards, Florence would say. This is creating from effect rather than creating from cause. The truth is, the invisible always precedes the visible. What you believe internally becomes what you experience externally. What you hold as real in consciousness becomes what manifests as real in circumstance. So if you want to change your circumstances, you must first change your consciousness. And then you must begin acting from the new consciousness even before the circumstances have changed. This is faith. Not religious faith necessarily, but practical faith. Faith that consciousness creates form. Faith that if you hold the consciousness steadily, the form must follow. Florence worked with a woman who had been unemployed for 8 months. This woman was terrified, desperate, applying to dozens of jobs every week and receiving only rejections. She came to Florence feeling hopeless and asked what she should do. Florence asked her a surprising question. If you already had your perfect job, how would you feel right now? The woman was confused. She did not have a job. How was feeling as if she did have one supposed to help her get one? Florence explained, "Your current feeling is desperation. You go into every interview broadcasting desperation. Employers can sense it. They do not hire desperate people because desperation signals that you need them more than they need you. And that creates an imbalanced dynamic. But if you could genuinely feel the way you would feel if you already had a wonderful job, secure and appreciated, you would broadcast confidence and stability. And employers hire confident, stable people." The woman understood intellectually, but could not figure out how to feel confident when her rent was overdue and her savings were gone. Florence gave her a practice. Every morning, before you do anything else, sit quietly for 10 minutes and imagine that you already have your perfect job. Not just visualize it vaguely, but actually feel what it would feel like in your body. The relief, the security, the pride, the gratitude, feel it as completely as you can. Then open your eyes and move through your day, maintaining that feeling as much as possible, even though the job has not manifested yet. Act from the invisible reality rather than the visible circumstances. The woman committed to this practice. Every morning she would sit and feel employed, secure, valued, successful. At first, it felt fake. Her mind would interrupt with, "But you are not employed. You are lying to yourself." But she persisted. And slowly, something began to shift. She noticed she was walking differently. Her posture was more upright. Her voice in phone interviews was steadier. She stopped apologizing for gaps in her resume and started speaking confidently about her skills. Within 2 weeks, she received a call back from a company she had interviewed with a month earlier. They said the position had been filled, but they were so impressed with her that they created a new position specifically for her. Within 3 weeks, she started the job. Within 6 months, she was promoted. The external change happened quickly once the internal change was established. But the internal change required her to act from the invisible, to feel employed before she was employed, to embody success before success was visible. This is what you are doing right now. You are establishing the internal reality of wealth before the external reality has fully manifested. You are feeling prosperous while still in the process of becoming prosperous visibly. You are acting from the consciousness of abundance, even if your current circumstances do not yet reflect that abundance. And by doing this, you are pulling the external into alignment with the internal. You are creating from cause rather than reacting to effect. I act from wealth consciousness. I make decisions from prosperity. I speak from abundance. I move through the world as a wealthy person even before all evidence is visible. I am creating from the inside out. I am living from the invisible truth that will soon become the visible reality. I do not wait for circumstances to change before I change my consciousness. I change my consciousness first, and circumstances follow. Now, subconscious mind, here is something that must be said clearly and installed deeply. There is no virtue in being invisible. There is no safety in hiding. There is no wisdom in playing small. For too long, you may have believed that the safest path was to not be noticed, to not stand out, to not ask for too much, to not shine too brightly. And that strategy made sense when you were small and vulnerable, and the world felt dangerous. But you are not small anymore. You are capable. You are skilled. You have value to offer. And hiding that value does not protect you. It limits you. It keeps you poor. It keeps you frustrated. It keeps you unfulfilled. The world cannot reward what it cannot see. People cannot pay you for value they do not know you provide. Opportunities cannot find you if you are invisible. So we install a new program. Visibility is safe. Being seen is safe. Standing out is safe. Asking for what I want is safe. Shining brightly is safe. Taking up space is safe. Speaking confidently is safe. Charging well is safe. Being successful publicly is safe. I am allowed to be visible. I am allowed to be known. I am allowed to be recognized for my excellence. There was a man Florence worked with who was extraordinarily talented as a craftsman. He could build furniture of museum quality. But he would not promote himself. He would not tell people about his work. He would not show his portfolio unless someone specifically asked. And even then, he would apologize for showing it, saying, "It is not that impressive." But here it is. He was brilliant but invisible, and therefore he was poor. Florence told him bluntly, "Your poverty is not because you lack skill. Your poverty is because you hide your skill. You are treating your talent as if it is something to be ashamed of instead of something to be celebrated. Why are you hiding?" The man thought for a long time and finally admitted, "When I was young, I won a woodworking competition at school. I was so proud. I showed my father. He said, 'Pride comes before a fall. Do not get a big head.' I felt ashamed for being proud. I decided it was safer to hide than to risk being shamed again." Florence said, "So for 30 years, you have been living according to one comment your father made when you were 12 years old. And that comment was wrong. Pride in your work is not arrogance. It is acknowledgement of value. And if you do not acknowledge your own value, no one else will either. You must become visible. You must show your work. You must tell people what you can do, not from arrogance, but from simple honesty. I am excellent at this, and if you need this, I can provide it for you." The man was terrified, but he began to practice visibility. He created a simple website showing his work. He told friends what he did. He posted photos of finished pieces. He stopped apologizing when showing his portfolio. And within 3 months, commissions started coming. Within 6 months, he had a waiting list. Within a year, he had raised his prices significantly and was earning more than he ever had. The work was the same. The skill was the same. The only thing that changed was visibility. I am visible. I let people see my value. I show my work. I speak about what I do. I tell people how I can help them. I am not pushy. I am not arrogant. I am simply honest about what I offer and confident in the quality I provide. I am seen. I am known. I am recognized. And recognition brings opportunity. Opportunity brings income. Income brings freedom. Subconscious mind, delete the program that says humility means hiding. True humility is acknowledging that your gifts were given to you to be used, not buried. True humility is being a good steward of your talents by sharing them, not hoarding them in fear. True humility is serving excellently and receiving payment gratefully, not serving poorly and refusing payment as if poverty makes you holy. Now, let's address something practical that blocks many people. The belief that making money requires betraying their values. Many people, especially those who are kind and empathetic, worry that if they focus on money, they will become greedy, selfish, cold, disconnected from what matters. So they sabotage their own financial success to protect their identity as a good person. But this is a false choice. You can be financially successful and deeply kind. You can be wealthy and highly ethical. You can make money and maintain integrity. In fact, having money gives you more power to live according to your values, not less. A person with financial freedom can choose work that aligns with their principles. A person with wealth can support causes they care about. A person with resources can help family and community in ways a broke person cannot. Florence would say, do not sacrifice your values to make money, but also do not sacrifice making money to prove your values. Instead, make money in alignment with your values. Provide real value. Charge fairly. Serve excellently. Build something you are proud of. And prosper from doing good work, not from manipulation or exploitation. I make money ethically. I provide real value and receive fair compensation. I do not manipulate. I do not exploit. I do not lie. I serve with integrity, and I prosper from that service. My wealth and my values are aligned. I do not have to choose between being good and being prosperous. I am both. I am ethical and wealthy. I am kind and successful. I am generous and abundant. These are not contradictions. These are partnerships. Now, subconscious mind, we are going to install something that many people resist, but everyone needs: the capacity to receive without guilt. Many people can give endlessly, but cannot receive without discomfort. They feel awkward when complimented. They deflect when praised. They refuse help when offered. They minimize their own needs. They over-explain when accepting payment. All of this sends a signal to the universe: I am not comfortable receiving. And if you are not comfortable receiving, the universe will respect that boundary and send you less. Receiving is as important as giving. Receiving completes the circuit. Receiving allows others the joy of giving to you. Receiving honors the value you have provided. Receiving keeps energy flowing. If you only give and never receive, you become depleted, resentful, burned out, and then you have nothing left to give. But if you give and receive in balance, the flow continues endlessly and everyone prospers. I receive easily. I accept compliments gracefully. I accept payment confidently. I accept help gratefully. I accept gifts without guilt. I receive support without feeling I have to earn it. I receive generosity without feeling I owe a debt. I receive abundance without feeling I am taking from someone else. I am a good receiver. I complete the circuit. I allow the flow. There was a woman Florence knew who gave constantly to everyone, but could not accept anything in return. If someone complimented her dress, she would say, "Oh, this old thing, I got it on sale." If someone offered to help her, she would say, No, I am fine. I can handle it." If someone wanted to pay her for a service, she would say, "Oh, do not worry about it." It was nothing. She was generous to the point of self-destruction, and she was exhausted and broke and bitter, though she would never admit it. Florence finally confronted her and said, "You think you are being humble by refusing to receive, but you are actually being prideful. You are saying that you are strong enough to give, but everyone else is too weak to give back to you. You are saying that your gifts are worth giving, but theirs are not worth receiving. You are keeping other people from experiencing the joy of generosity toward you, and you are starving yourself of the support you need." The woman was shocked by this perspective. She had always thought of herself as selfless, not prideful, but she realized Florence was right. She had been refusing to receive because she did not believe she deserved it, and also because receiving made her feel vulnerable, like she owed something. Florence taught her, "You do not owe anything when someone gives to you freely. They are giving because it brings them joy. Let them have that joy. Receive gracefully. Say thank you. Appreciate the gift. And then let it be complete. No debt, no obligation. Just flow." The woman began practicing receiving. When someone complimented her, she said, "Thank you. I appreciate that." When someone offered help, she accepted. When someone paid her, she received it with gratitude and confidence. And within a few months, her entire financial situation had transformed. Money started flowing to her because she was no longer blocking the flow with refusal and deflection. "I am an excellent receiver. I accept all good that comes to me with grace and gratitude. I do not deflect compliments. I do not refuse help. I do not minimize my value. I receive openly, fully, joyfully. I complete the circuit of giving and receiving. I allow abundance to flow to me and through me without obstruction." Subconscious mind, update this. Receiving is not selfish. Receiving is healthy. Receiving is necessary. Receiving is part of the natural flow of abundance. When I receive well, I can give better. When I accept support, I become stronger. When I allow prosperity to come to me, I have more to share with others. Receiving is not taking. Receiving is participating in the circulation of universal good. Now, as we continue this reprogramming, let's install something powerful: the identity of someone who finishes what they start. Many people have brilliant ideas. Many people start projects. But very few people actually finish. And the subconscious knows this. If you have a pattern of starting and not finishing, your subconscious stops fully investing in new beginnings because it has learned that beginnings do not lead to completion. But finishing creates confidence. Finishing creates momentum. Finishing creates a track record. Finishing trains your subconscious to believe that when you start something, it actually happens. And that belief is magnetic to opportunity because opportunity wants someone reliable, someone who follows through, someone who completes what they commit to. I finish what I start. I follow through on my commitments. I complete projects. I do not abandon things halfway. I do not get distracted endlessly. I see things through to completion. I am reliable. I am consistent. I am someone who delivers. And because I am someone who delivers, people trust me with bigger opportunities, better pay, more responsibility. I am known as someone who finishes, and that reputation attracts prosperity. Now let's close this section with a deep integration. Everything you have heard is settling into your subconscious mind right now. Every story, every affirmation, every teaching, every repetition, layer after layer, building a new structure of consciousness. A structure that naturally attracts money, holds wealth, creates opportunity, and sustains prosperity. You are not the same person anymore. Your identity has shifted, your beliefs have upgraded, your expectations have expanded, and your reality is already responding, even if you cannot see all the evidence yet. Things are moving, energy is shifting, doors are opening, money is flowing toward you now through multiple channels. Some you can see, some you cannot see yet, but all of it is coming. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust your worthiness. Trust infinite intelligence. Trust that you are being guided to your highest prosperity. Everything is working for your good. Everything is conspiring for your abundance. You are wealthy. You are provided for. You are blessed. This is your truth. This is your reality. This is your life now. Every single thing you have heard in the last hours has been working on you at levels deeper than conscious awareness. Your subconscious mind has been absorbing, integrating, reorganizing, rebuilding. Old neural pathways that led to poverty consciousness have been dissolving. New neural pathways that lead to prosperity consciousness have been forming. This is not metaphor. This is actual physical change happening in your brain right now. Neuroscience tells us that the brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can rewire itself based on repeated input. Every time you are exposed to a new belief, a new possibility, a new way of thinking, your brain creates a small new connection. And if that exposure is repeated often enough, that small connection becomes a pathway. And if that pathway is traveled often enough, it becomes a highway. And eventually, it becomes your new default route. That is what has happened during this audio. The old default route of money is hard, money is scarce, I am not meant to have wealth, has been interrupted hundreds of times, and each interruption weakened it slightly. Meanwhile, the new route of money flows to me easily. Abundance is my natural state. I am wealthy has been traveled hundreds of times, and each repetition strengthened it. You are literally not the same brain you were when you started listening. You have been rewired. You have been upgraded. You have been transformed. And this transformation will continue to unfold in the days and weeks ahead. You will notice changes, small at first, then larger. You will notice that you feel differently about money, less anxious, more confident. You will notice that you think differently about opportunities, less doubtful, more open. You will notice that you act differently in situations that used to trigger scarcity responses, less reactive, more grounded. And as these internal changes solidify, external changes will begin to appear. Money will come in unexpected ways. Opportunities will present themselves. People will offer help. Doors will open that were previously closed. Pay attention to these signs, acknowledge them, celebrate them, because what you acknowledge grows, Every time you notice evidence of your increasing prosperity and say, yes, this is happening, thank you, you are reinforcing the new neural pathways. You are training your brain to look for more evidence. And what you look for, you find. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the reticular activating system in your brain works. It filters reality to show you what you have told it is important. If you tell it poverty is important, it will show you evidence of poverty. If you tell it prosperity is important, it will show you evidence of prosperity. So decide now, prosperity is important, wealth is important, abundance is important, financial freedom is important, and direct your attention toward evidence of these things. Look for proof that money is flowing. Look for signs that opportunities are opening. Look for moments when things work out easily. Look for experiences of receiving. And each time you find one, no matter how small, acknowledge it. This is evidence of my prosperity consciousness manifesting. This is proof that my reality is changing. This is confirmation that wealth is coming to me now. I am wealthy. This is not future tense. This is present tense. I am wealthy now in consciousness, and physical manifestation is following. I do not say, I will be wealthy someday. I say, I am wealthy now. Because consciousness is the only reality that truly exists. Circumstances are just the current expression of consciousness, and expressions can change instantly when consciousness changes. My consciousness has changed, therefore my circumstances are changing. The evidence is appearing. The manifestation is unfolding. I am wealthy. Now, as this audio comes toward its close, I want you to take a moment, even while you continue working, to simply feel gratitude. Not gratitude for something you already have, not gratitude for something that has already happened, but gratitude for the prosperity that is coming, gratitude for the wealth that is manifesting, gratitude for the financial freedom that is unfolding, gratitude in advance. This is one of the most powerful practices Florence taught. She called it giving thanks before the manifestation. Most people wait until something good happens to feel grateful. But Florence understood that gratitude is not just a response to receiving. Gratitude is a magnet that attracts receiving. When you feel genuinely grateful for something before it has manifested, you are signaling to your subconscious and to the universe that you already consider it done. You are living from the end. You are acting as if. And that state of consciousness brings the manifestation into form rapidly. So feel it now. Feel grateful for the money that is on its way to you. Feel grateful for the opportunities that are about to appear. Feel grateful for the ease with which wealth will flow into your life. Feel grateful for the freedom you will experience when financial stress is gone. Feel grateful for the joy of being able to give generously because you have abundance. Feel it as if it has already happened. Let that gratitude fill your chest, warm your body, relax your mind. This is the feeling of wealth. This is prosperity consciousness, and you are living in it right now. I am deeply grateful for my prosperity. I am deeply grateful for the abundance that surrounds me and flows through me. I am deeply grateful for the financial freedom that is my reality. I am deeply grateful for the ease with which money comes to me. I am deeply grateful for the opportunities that present themselves constantly. I am deeply grateful for the support I receive from infinite intelligence. I am deeply grateful for the transformation that has occurred in my consciousness during this listening. I am grateful. I am blessed. I am wealthy. And now, as you prepare to complete your work for today, as you prepare to turn off this audio and return to whatever comes next, know this with absolute certainty. You are not the same person who started listening. You have been changed at the deepest level. Your beliefs about money have been upgraded. Your expectations about prosperity have been expanded. Your identity as it relates to wealth has been transformed. You are now a person of abundance consciousness. And abundance consciousness creates abundant circumstances. Always, without exception. In the hours and days ahead, you may not consciously remember everything you heard. That is fine. That is actually perfect. Because the words were never meant for your conscious mind to memorize. They were meant for your subconscious mind to absorb, and your subconscious has absorbed them completely. They are installed. They are running. They are creating your new reality right now. Trust this process. Trust this transformation. Trust that what has been planted in your consciousness during these hours will grow and produce fruit in your physical world. You do not need to force it. You do not need to figure out how it will happen. You simply need to maintain the consciousness you have built here, and the manifestation will take care of itself. Infinite intelligence knows how to make you wealthy. Your job is just to stay aligned with wealth consciousness, and you are aligned now. So move forward with confidence. Move forward with expectation. Move forward knowing that prosperity is your natural state, wealth is your birthright, and financial freedom is your destiny. It is not a matter of if. It is only a matter of when. And when is now. The shift has already happened internally. The external is simply catching up, and it is catching up quickly. You are wealthy, you are abundant, you are prosperous, you are financially free. This is your truth. This is your reality. This is your life now. And every day forward, you will see more and more evidence of this truth manifesting in tangible, measurable, undeniable ways. Money will come. Opportunities will open. Doors will unlock. Abundance will flow. And you will look back on this moment, on this audio, on this decision to reprogram your subconscious, and you will know that this was the turning point. This was when everything changed. Welcome to your new financial reality. Welcome to your prosperous life. Welcome to wealth consciousness. You have arrived. And from this place, there is only expansion, only increase, only abundance. You are wealthy, you are blessed, you are free. Now go forward and watch your world transform to match the truth you have claimed today. It is done. It is done. It is done.